Morning, everybody, and a warm welcome to our coverage of the second day's play. The second test match in Chennai went mainly India's way on the first day. Having won the toss, Virat Kohli was very pleased to bat on what looked like a very dry and baked pitch. He was clearly dissatisfied with the one in the first test. He wanted to do more from earlier so that you didn't get out of the game if you lost the toss, and the team batting, England in this case, were able to survive, and that's what happened in the first test. Joe Root built that fantastic first innings total, and from there India played catch up. Well, of course, that's now what India want to do to England in this second test. I say 300 for 6. That isn't to say England aren't out of it, not by any means. In fact, pick up 4 quick wickets this morning and play very well in the first innings. Who's to say they shouldn't have parity? But it's a tough ask. Darren Gough is alongside me. Morning, Goughy.
Good morning, everyone.
Do you have hope in your heart today?
I do. I put some stuff out on social media. I think me and Matt Pryor were both a little positive on it. 300 for 6 was a great day's cricket for the watcher, for the listener. But England not out of it yet. Yes, I agree totally what you've said. The pitch, obviously, it's almost become whoever wins the toss doesn't win the game. I agree with you totally. He wanted it to turn from ball 1, so in case India lost the toss, at least his spinners had something to ball 2. But 300 is a good score to have on the board, but they'll be hoping for another 100. If they can get another 100, I think it would be very difficult from England going forward. Matt
Pryor is also here. Matt, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
It's a tough get-up, isn't it? Second day.
It is a little bit.
Anyway, we're all here, raring to go. You'd need a Darren Gough in your dressing room this morning, because you really have to make the players believe that this is still possible. This ongoing sort of cliche a bit about cricket in India, lose the toss, lose the match, haunts the side that loses the toss if they concede 300 on the first day.
Yeah, it certainly does. It is a tough ask, and this is where you need your big players to step up. Watching the pictures that have come through to us so far this morning, you're looking at the body language of the teams. India very upbeat. You had Kohli talking, sort of beating the drums already. You could see him getting. India can tell they're in a very good position, a very strong position. And then you had sort of Silverwood and Root having kind of quite a stern chat. And I think that England will realise the seriousness of the situation. 300 runs in a day on this wicket is a lot of runs, but it certainly wouldn't be from Joe Root. Guys, we're too far behind the game. I think, Nico, you're absolutely spot on. If England have a good day today, there is no reason why they can't get back in this game.
Particularly a good morning.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So those 4 quick wickets are crucial, are absolutely crucial. But then England are going to have to show some great skill against spin, because this wicket is difficult. Let's just face facts. It is a difficult wicket to bat on. The Indian batsmen yesterday were fantastic. I think England bowled a bit loosely. We've discussed that already. But England are going to have to show some serious skill against India's spin bowlers to get parity.
Let's throw it back to yesterday to tell the story, just as a reminder briefly before we get stuck into day 2. England took 3 wickets in the morning session, and very important wickets too. All batsmen who in their different ways can hurt you. Shubman Gill, a brilliant stroke player. Cheteshwar Pujara, the ultimate defender, the man who keeps you out there day upon day. And then Virat Kohli, amongst the 2 or 3 greatest players in the world today. But they couldn't keep Rohit Sharma quiet. Now, was that exclusively because Rohit played so well, or didn't we quite turn the screw on him?
Well, we didn't bowl brilliant, did we, against him? I thought Ollie Stone were excellent at times, showed terrific art and terrific skill. Thought Broad does what he does. He puts the ball in the right areas, tried to create some pressure. Moeen Ali, been out of the game for a long time, struggled with consistency on line and length. Jack Leach was probably the pick of the bowlers, consistent throughout the day, but the thing about Rohit Sharma, and he talks about it, he says he won't let spinners bowl at him. He wants to dictate the tempo, and he did that, and he played some wonderful, wonderful shots. He had a game plan against Moeen Ali. If he was going to bowl that attacking line like an off-spinner does, he was going to sweep him, and he swept him most of the day, and then he had to adjust his game plan as the day went on, but Moeen adjusted. But as I said, Moeen just wasn't quite at his best, wasn't it? And I'm not blaming him for it, same as Don Best the last test. These guys are hardly playing, and as a spinner, you always hear from them, they need to be bowling lots and lots of overs.
Yep, fair call. Okay, well, thank you for that, Goughy. Let's wind back the clock. It was Rohit Sharma's day, but not exclusively so.
Beauty! Oh my goodness, LBW, yes! Left alone by Shubman Gill.
and sure enough, England have their first wicket, and it comes from Ollie Stone. What a moment.
Ollie Stone, wow.
Broad now, oh, what a stroke, overpitched by Broad.
Wow. A craftsman at work, Rohit Sharma. Beautiful.
Stokes on his way, right arm over the wicket. Rohit Sharma's hitting this through mid-wicket. I'll amend that. He's hitting it over mid-wicket.
Balls now to Rohit, that's a poor ball. That is a full toss, really old full bugger that. Sort of knee height, and he just swatted it with the sweep shot, and he's gone to 50 with it.
Leach again. Edge gone! Stokes takes the catch and slip. Cheteshwar Pujara has gone for 21.
This is one more question. How many years after the first Test match was the first Test match declared the first Test match?
Fifth ball of his innings. Oh, it's bowled him! Moeen Ali's got one to absolutely rip! Virat Kohli is standing there completely dumbfounded, saying, how was that? Are you sure that has bowled me?
Nothing wrong with that, Virat Kohli. Yes, you can get bowled out by Moeen Ali. On your bike, son.
As Moeen Ali goes into it, he comes down the pitch, launches it back past Moeen Ali, and launches it almost back past the stand.
What, mate? Doing with this bit, eh?
Here is Moeen once again. Little sweep shot, top edge, and down towards deep backward square leg. They're turning for the second. That's Rohit Sharma's century. 7th Test match century for Rohit Sharma to go with 11 50s.
And now he plays the sweep stroke, smashes it in the gap, dead square of the wicket. This is a masterclass. 4 more.
Luckily, Goffey, being the ultimate team man he is, asking everyone, sausage or bacon? Sausage for me, Goffey, please.
Bacon for me with brown sauce, please. Here is Moeen Ali once again, and that's pushed nicely down the ground for his 50 by Ajinkya Rahane.
Roots around the wicket. Rohit turns it off of his hip, past the short leg fielder, and sets off for a single. He gets to 150.
Much bowls, and again the sweep shot, and yes! Caught in the deep by Moeen Ali, and for the first time the sweep doesn't work for Rohit Sharma, and after a long vigil, after 231 balls, after some glorious stroke play, a very fine innings comes to an end. Again, and he now sweeps, he bowled him! Moeen Ali has got the wicket of Ajinkya Rahane. It's worked for England.
Pant's going to come down the wicket to Jack Leach, and he's hoiked him into the stand at mid-wicket.
Get the sanitizer out.
There's a phrase you never thought you'd use in cricket commentary.
You wouldn't, would
Get
you?
the sanitizer
It's
out.
mad. What a world we live in.
Here is Root once again. Oh, and that's caught it short leg by Ollie Pope. It's all happening. Off the inside edge, it is. He's given, he's walking. Ashwin's on his way. Here is Ollie Stone once again. Ball. Short ball, he's pulled it. Oh, the last over of the day. 300 up for India.
Yeah, well, it was all about the big partnership between Rohit Sharma and Ajinkya Rahane. It was 3 for 86 when Virat Kohli got out, and they took the score to 248. That, you know, when it was tricky conditions, I'd say a capricious pitch, perhaps we could call it. That period of batting was exemplary, and it's true, England did lose a bit of control. Therefore, 300 for 6, and one real problem with the not-out batsman, because one of them is called Rishabh Pant, Goffey, and he's a hard guy to bowl at, isn't he?
It is, but I thought he was quite watchful last night. Be interesting how he plays this morning when he comes to the crease. I would expect him to have a good look for a couple of overs, and then I'm expected to see some shots. I definitely am. And it'll be interesting who he decides to go with Joe Root as a captain. I have a feeling he might go with the left-arm spin of Leach. I've no idea who he'll go with at the other end, but let's wait and see.
Well, won't he take the new ball?
Again, I just think Jack Leach could be the man, because I think it started off in the last Test match for Rishabh Pant where he tried to attack him, and we know he's going to hit it to the leg side. He can defend it to a certain extent. Yes, if Rishabh keeps coming down and clean hitting it for 6, it becomes an issue. But I think early on in the innings, why not just have a quick look at Jack Leach bowling into that rough?
Because it might cost you 30 in 2 overs. And really, these runs are so precious. You've got a brand new ball if you want it.
Yeah, but do the seamers look like getting you out?
Matt?
They took the new ball last night, so we've got the brand new ball out. So I reckon they're going to have I think it'll be Stone and Broad to start up early. I mean, it might be a couple of overs, literally 2 over spell maybe from both of them, and then you're going to get. I would have Moeen, to be honest, with a hard ball going away from the left-hander would be my shout.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, Joe Root actually was the pick of the off spinners, and he only bowled what?
No,
to
he
get
was.
Root on, he bowled it a lot quicker than the other two spinners. So I think that he looked more dangerous, and this will be interesting. India spinners watching that because he bowled it quicker than than Leach and Moeen, and I think he looked more effective and more dangerous, doing more bounce, and it was spitting off the wicket with that pace he bowled it.
I think that he bowls without fear. You know, he's captain of the side. He's the best batsman in the land and one of the best 3 or 4 in the world. And he just runs in and bowls. So he's not under pressure. So he follows through properly, he spins it properly, and he's got a bit of ability. Whereas I do think, I hate saying it, but I do think the other two bowl like they're, you know, nervous of their place in the side, nervous of the impact of the Indians if they get hold of them, nervous of the press coverage that comes from it. I mean, you know, this job, playing Test match cricket, is about the temperament you show under pressure. When the spotlight's all over you, how good can you be? And if you haven't played a lot of cricket, as Goffey pointed out earlier, you don't have the rhythm and match practice feel to your performance, you will be a bit uncertain about yourself.
I think that's a very fair point. I think, as you say, Root coming on, it's a bit of a hiding to nothing because you know he can only have success really if he gets a wicket. Then fantastic. when you're the main spinner or main couple of spinners expected to bowl teams out or bowl tight all day, it is a different mentality. But the one thing for me and why I believe this wicket is so going to be very difficult to bat on is because of that, because it's turning at pace. You know, usually what will happen on a wicket that's only turning, you know, the spinner has to sometimes take a bit of pace off it for the ball to sit in the wicket for longer and allow it to spin. When you're able to run in and bowl, I mean, Rooty was bowling quick, wasn't he, yesterday? He was throwing it in fast, and it was still absolutely ragging. Now, for me, that's the danger, because the minute a spinner can come in and bowl quick into those footholes, and it's still turning and bouncing and spitting, I mean, the Indian spinners will be bowling far quicker, I think, than Moeen and Leach yesterday, so that'll be interesting to watch.
And interesting, Rishabh Pant's got a very good record. You know, if you take international wicket keepers since 2018, I think he's second on the list with average, and top of it with strike rate. So we're not dealing with a one-off here. He's 2 or 3 places on that list ahead of Jos Buttler, who we think a lot of as a man who can take the game away from you. But Rishabh can sure do it. So England need to be more than aware of that this morning.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously a very, very talented cricketer. He plays on feel, and he's a boundary hitter. You know, so you have batsmen, don't you, Goffey? Bowler. He's a boundary. He's always looking to hit a boundary. He's always coming at you, and that from an England perspective this morning, they have to be careful because they've got this sort of balancing act of yes, we want these 4 wickets quickly, but we can't just leak runs. We can't let Pant have a crazy half hour where he gets 30-40 runs quickly. They'll just take the game away.
He plays to a plan. He knows exactly where his hitting areas are. That's what impresses me about him. People think he just runs down and slogs it. He doesn't. He's picked his hitting areas. He knows where to hit the left armour. He knows where he wants to hit the off spinner, and he knows how to play the seamers. And that's why his record is the way it is. He's not just someone who comes in and tees off. He's not a tail ender. This guy can bat. He's got terrific skills, and he can hit it anywhere, 360 degrees. He's an all-format cricketer. He's superb.
Right, so the dressing room. Come on, you boys, you've been there. You've done it, Matt, in India, specifically on a long tour. This really is important now. Root's got the guys out. He's had his little huddle. They're making their, or he's about to have his little huddle, I should say. They're making their way to the middle, but they'll stop halfway. Has he huddled yet? Maybe he has. You know, how empty do words sound at times like this some days, and how important and motivating do they sound other days?
Well, I think, being completely honest, it depends on the characters in the team. I think if you're that player that's going to say, oh, it's been a tough day and I'm just going to sit here now and switch off until we have a bat, you're probably in the wrong place. And that's on the captain and the other senior players to be able to G the guys up. But I think the one thing Root would be asking for this morning, he'd say, guys, give me control. Please give me control with the ball. We'll set good fields, but just hit your areas time and time again. Let's build some pressure, and that is how we're going to get wickets.
You hear that crowd?
How good was that? That my hairs on my arms, because it's been such a long time. That noise when the 2 Indian batsmen come out to the crease. What? That's the good thing about touring India or Pakistan, and you walk out and the local heroes come out to bat, and the noise is amazing.
Yeah, India does manic noise for its own people and deathly hush for its opponent.
Amazing, eh?
You could play the innings of your life, hit 27 fours and 11 sixes in that innings, and you wouldn't get a ripple. So my theory is that India loves celebrity, that India loves the stars, that India loves the moments, perhaps even more than it loves the game itself.
Well, that's why the IPL is such a success, because it creates superstars.
Yeah. Create stars and moments, and I think there's something in it. So, you know, if you're not one of those people, if you play the game in an understated way and you're from a foreign continent, you know, if you Dom Sibley, if you just go quietly about your business and accumulate runs, you might not get a single moment of applause in your whole 100.
It's harsh, isn't it?
Well, it's a thought. There you go. I leave it with you.
Absolutely.
And Goffey's right. It's to be Jack Leach. He could read into Joe Root's mind. Jack Leach is going to start off, which is interesting given there's two left-handers at the wicket, because with Rishabh Pant, we haven't spoken at all about Akshar Patel, who I've seen strike the ball extremely well and more than confident with the bat. Maybe not the threat that Ravi Jadeja is, but certainly a threat. Washington Sundar in this position played very well in the last test match, but they've swapped, well, not like for like, because Sundar's an off spinner and Akshar Patel is a left arm spinner who spins the ball away from the right handers. Anyway, here we go, second day's play, good crowd in, plenty of noise, and it'll be Jack Leach to bowl over the wicket to Akshar Patel. The first ball's a little bit leg-sidey, which he works off his hip, but there's a man at 45 round the corner there who does the fielding.
Well, the interesting thing here, Mark, is British coming around the wicket to the left-hander, which is a surprise.
Yes, you'd expect him to bowl over and land it in the rough outside off stump, but he's not doing that. He's bowling around the wicket and very straight, and it's not spinning off the straight. I suppose they figure that some balls did spin off the straight yesterday and really burst, and he's more likely to bring LBW into play if he bowls round the wicket and gets it to spin. There's a slip in place and a short leg, 3 in the covers, saving a single. There's a beauty, beats him on the angle this time. It hurries on across him, and a rare mistake by Ben Foakes, who actually drops a ball. We'll make note of that. First over, second morning, Ben Foakes dropped a ball. Again, Leach now, number 77 on his back, on a length, and Akshar is forward defensively. No spin yet this morning in the 4 balls that we've seen, though plenty in the fingers of Leach now. As I said a lot yesterday, he spins it like a top in his hand. Now he runs into bowl and does so very straight, and Akshar goes back and defends, and it's like a brand new fresh pitch, this, as if nothing ever happened to it. Only given a light rolling overnight. I'd have expected India to put the heavy on it, see if it breaks up a bit, though I'm not sure that's not a bit of a myth. The breaking up of pitches with a heavy roller, I think that if anything, a heavy roller helps to flatten the pitch a bit. You get the odd one in certain places, maybe, you know, somewhere the ground incredibly hard and the cracks are big plate cracks and wide, somewhere like Perth, say, in the old days. You might have make it a touch more uneven if some cracks sink a bit, or they're pulled apart a bit further. I saw a pitch there once. If Greggy put the keys down the crack. Here's now this time Leach he switches immediately to bowl over the wicket and appeals for LBW because the batsman offers no shot. End of the over. First one of the day gone. Goffey 300 for 60.
Yeah, interesting start round the wicket. Finished over the wicket from Jack Leach. Not just quickly on that Perth, wasn't it Jeff Marsh who actually put his bat in at drinks, just put it into the crack in the wicket and just stood it up and went for a drink?
Well, it certainly happened. That was in a test against West Indies, yeah.
Stuck his bat in the crack was that big.
Whether it was Jeff or not, I don't know, but Booney maybe, but certainly it was one of the Australians. You're dead right. And you know what? I think that was a test that in one spell, Curtly Ambrose took 7 for 1. One ball that he bowled on a length at off stump was taken by Gully, and it didn't hit anything on the way. But it was more the up and down actually than the sideways.
We played on one similar in 2013, whichever the bad one was. At Perth, cracks were, I mean, in your stance you were falling down the crack, quite literally.
I think that was when Stokesy announced himself with a brilliant 100, wasn't it?
Yep, that's right.
Moeen Ali now. Oh, dear me. Pant goes back and he defends on the back foot in the air for about 20 metres, but it was dead between Moeen Ali and Joe Rood at short extra cover and goes out to long off for a single. On another day, that'll pop up to one of them, easy as you like. Pant off the mark this morning brings Aksa down onto strike. In comes Moeen Ali, bowls a beautiful off break. That's out stumped, I think. Ben Foakes is so sure, and so is Akshay Patel. He doesn't even wait for the umpire's decision. He walks drawn into a beautifully flighted off break that spins and bounces and defeats Akshay on every level.
Yeah, this is just outstanding from Ben Foakes. He had a fantastic day yesterday. Watching the replay now, Akshay Patel reaches for the ball, spins sharply, bounces, but because he overbalances, he falls out of his crease. Ben Foakes whips the bells off with ease and speed that you expect from him now. And outstanding bit of work. India now 301 for 7.
Very strange dismissal, wasn't it? Second over of the morning, just outstretched. Little bit of flight from Moeen. Great start for him. India though 301 for 7, but that's a massive start for England. We just talked about it in the build-up. Needed early wickets, need to dismiss India as quick as possible and bat well in these first innings. So in walks Ishant Sharma here on TalkSport 2 on 301 for 7.
But Goffey, that ball in its way was as good as the one that got Virat Kohli, because he got it up in the air, he got dip on it, so the batsman ends up reaching, and as the ball dips, it defeats him in the flight, draws him into the stroke, and the mistake is made.
Yeah, it was like watching under 14 cricket. That, I mean, to get done like that on the flight, overstepping, reaching for the ball and searching for the ball. Yes, a great bit of bowling, great bit of keeping. You've got to applaud it. But come on, average batting, Mark.
He's a number 8. Number 8. Okay. Well, okay. I'm happy to go with you, but I still think it was as confident looking a ball as I've seen for a while.
Yeah,
from
I'm
Moeen.
giving that to Moeen. I think that was a great bit of bowling. I think he's got
Stay
some
behind
really
the crease.
good. Yeah, but that's the skill of the bowler, isn't it?
You're
Draw the
just
batsman
seduced.
out.
Here we go again now. Ishant on the strike, big tall man, and that's a good ball too. Lovely off spinner in the right place. Forward goes Ishant. Bat and pad together. It drops down safely on the offside. Maybe you could
Come
argue.
on, Goffey.
Watching
that replay, that's a beautiful bit of bowling.
Matt, I was a lower order batsman, right?
Oh, that's a terrible bit of bowling, but he's got a wicket with it. Unbelievable. The softest Test match wicket I reckon I've seen. That is a rank full toss. Ishant Sharma went forward, turned his bat to its edge and poked it straight up in the air to short mid-wicket.
It's definitely a benefit game.
That's under 14 cricket.
The last 5 minutes in cricket, I mean, what is that? It's an attempted sweep, just looking to just push it round the corner, and it's just at a leading edge, straight to Rory Burge. You'll never get an easier catch. Moeen Ali thinks he's won the lottery this morning. He's rocked up thinking, oh, this could be a long couple of hours, and got 2 easy wickets.
He might get 6 for.
It's amazing, isn't it?
He's
how your
got
luck
4
change.
now, yep. But I tell you what, guys, the real point here is that you get 2 more just as quickly, and the whole complexion changes, because, yes, England negate India's score, but I mean, they go into the dressing room.
It's the perfect start. It's exactly what you want. Walk out, 2 quick wickets. I mean, ideally they would have had Pant. That would have been the perfect start.
Sure, but they can now. God, the great thing would be to get Kuldeep with one of these next 2 balls, but they can now give Pant a single and try to bowl at the other 2.
But what it does, we might see a few shots now from Rishabh Pant.
Oh, no might. There's no might. Crowd have gone dead quiet. They won't if Rishabh Pant takes England on, but at least Jack Leach knows what's coming, and England can set the field accordingly. That's assuming that they keep Kuldeep on strike. Kuldeep Yadav then, the left arm wrist spinner, clever bowler, enthusiastic cricketer, young-looking fellow. Still, like all of them, a little unshaven, hasn't got the full beard like the others, but he's got that shadow, a goatee shadow, as he takes strike now, banging his bat on the ground, waiting for Moeen Ali's off-break to come his way. Ali back around the wicket, and he bowls a nice ball, but it's a bit too full, actually. And Yadav is forward easily and pushes it back down the pitch to Moeen, who has 2 wickets in this, his first over of the day. And one of them a beautiful ball, the other a shocking ball. Doesn't matter, look in the scorebook. That is just wide of gully, and they turned down the single that they could have taken because Rishabh Pant wants to ensure that he gets the strike. So on that occasion, the forward defensive prod resulted in a thick outside edge. But what a start for England. 2 overs gone, 2 wickets taken.
Fantastic start for England, and how good is it to see Moeen Ali? I'm a big fan of Moeen Ali. I think even yesterday, yes, he would bowl some loose balls, he bowled some full tosses, dragged a few down, he was obviously out of match rhythm, but when he gets it right, for me, from the pick of the England spinners, he gets the most shape on it, he tries to turn it, gives it a good rip.
You kept to him, didn't you?
Yeah, when he first
when he started, and he tell us how the ball hits the gloves.
So his big challenge when he first came into Test cricket, he bowled too slowly. So his first thing was he had to get more pace on the ball, which is usually the main challenge coming from county cricket to international cricket for a spinner, is having to get there, vary that pace, because if you bowl too slowly in international cricket, these guys are just down the track and whacking you. So he had to put more energy on it and get more pace, but without just bowling flat darts. And what impressed me with Mo was how quickly he adjusted.
Thank you. We will come back to that, but I have to tell you what's happened here, because ruthlessly Joe Root has taken Jack Leach out of the attack and brought himself into the attack.
Boom.
That's so that we have, well, he can bowl it flatter, faster, and he can spin it away from Rishabh Pant, and I do see the thinking here. He thinks a couple of bad overs, or a couple of overs that Leach bowls okay in the right slot, but Rishabh Pant pans over wide mid on and mid wicket for 6 are unnecessarily costly. So here's Root. Down goes Rishabh Pant and blocks him. Good ball.
Well, that's rare. Normally when Rishabh Pant comes down the crease, he comes and he throws everything at it. So he come down there. It was well bowled from Joe Root, actually.
Yeah.
A little bit quicker.
And now he might wait for Joe to bowl short, might he? And he's had a big slog at it. Tries to smack it over square leg. This is just why Joe is bowling. Joe gets it in on a wide angle because he bowls quite low arm. He doesn't come over the top. He's not 45, but he slings it in there, flat and fast. Makes it much harder to slog. Here now, down he comes. Has he got it all? Oh, of course he has. I can't believe I asked the question. He's hit it 15, 20 rows back for 6. Rishabh Pant.
Oh, this guy's gold dust, isn't he? He's just brilliant to watch. He's in a situation, though, now they wouldn't have expected to come out India and lose 2 quick wickets in the style they have. But with this guy at the crease, he's very, very dangerous, and this is what he's good at. He got actually nowhere near that, but he just backed his eye, hit through it, and there it goes. Pretty straight over mid-on for a huge 6. And it's again, get the sanitizer out.
Oh, happy-looking Kohli. Joe Root's got to get it wider, I think. Wider outside off stump. Oh, well played. That was a quicker, flatter, faster one. Fired in, and Pant was back and kept his eye on the ball. Watched it closely onto the face of the bat, and gets a single out to, well, it sounds odd for Joe Root bowling, but out to third man. It was off middle and leg. He wanted to, but Yadav didn't. So Yadav now has 2 balls to survive from Joe Root. 308 for 8. A lively start to the second morning. The 2 batsmen chat. Little fist pump. Ollie Pope at short leg. Helmet off, helmet on. Towel out of his trousers to dry the ball with shin pads. Gets ready in position. Slip and a gully in place now. Joe Root bowls a full ball. Yadav just blocks it, and there's no threat in that ball from Root. Yadav Sehwag looking just to block for Rishabh Pant. And it goes off an inside edge. They don't take the single because it's the final ball of the over. It flew down towards long leg, but the fielder did the chasing, pulled it up, and the single is refused, which means that Rishabh Pant will be on strike to Moeen Ali as a contest to Sehwag.
I tell you what, as a tail ender, you guys won't realise this, but when they do that and they start turning down the runs and you're sitting on naught, ball after ball after ball, when you know it's seaming or spinning, oh, that is frustrating. You just want to get one, don't you? You just want to get off the mark. No matter who you are in life, you just want to get a single, and they just keep turning them down there because they want, obviously, Rishabh Pant on strike.
What's the longest naught in history? There's a few that are well past the hour mark.
I mean, how does that happen?
It was a stunning Carl Rackerman one. Do you remember in Australia years ago? I think he faced well over 100 balls, but I can look it up for you.
Did he? Well over 100. Well, I'm interested enough for you to go to school for us. Thank you.
I thought Broad versus New Zealand was up there.
Broad. Willie Watson, maybe, in that partnership with Trevor Bailey. I think there was an Australian one too. I think in my years there, I'm not sure that it was McGrath, but I sort of remember somebody spending a long time supporting someone else. Right, Rishabh Pant on strike now to Moeen Ali. Oh, it's a full toss. Oh, he hit it straight back at him and threw his hands for 4. Well, on another day, that might just stick. Of course, he hits the ball very hard, but it was a full toss. These off spinners for England have got the full tossers going. Last test Don Best, this test Moeen Ali. Another boundary for Rishabh Pant.
Jeez, he hit that hard, didn't he? I mean, it is a filthy delivery again. Full bunger. Pant down the wicket, strikes it. Moeen tries to get a hand on it, just clips a finger. And actually, to be honest, when you see something like that, your first thought is, I hope Moeen's not injured.
Oh, but there will be a day that he'll catch it. You know, it might just go straight in the buckets one day. As it is, his hands are ringing. So he knows the tactic. To bowl it a bit quicker, I think, into the pitch. Let's see. Rishabh Pant, such a threat on 45 now from 62 balls, 312 for 8. Every ball a little spectacle of its own this morning. Good crowd in already here at... oh no, it's another full toss by Moeen Ali, being thrashed down the ground for 4 more. What are these full tosses, guys?
Wow, at a time where they picked up 2 quick wickets, to come back in his second over with 2 full tosses to a batsman who's capable of taking the game away from you. The way he plays, he hits the ball so hard, Rishabh Pant, and he's not hit that cleanly either, has he? So his last 2 deliveries, he's not hit as clean as he would have liked, but he's ended up with 2 boundaries.
It's a good ball. Now he tries to steal the single, working one that has overspin on it, was coming into the stumps, and he tries to stay leg side and open the blade and work a single, but he doesn't manage to do it. 3 balls of the over gone, 316 for 8. Rishabh Pant, the destroyer of English dreams, on 49. He wants that single. Down he comes and he gets it, steals it. Only just. Moeen did him in the flight, really. Kicked out a leg and a bat. Bat gets on it, it rolls into the leg side. It's a tremendous performance again from Pant. 50 from 65 balls. Not without alarm, but with great effect here, lifting the crowd, lifting the dressing room. Suddenly those 2 wickets in the Moeen Ali over are forgotten.
Well, for me, Mark, that was a better knock than last week's knock. I know it was exciting, hitting Jack Leach out of the rough for 6 after 6, but it did nothing for the team moving forward. It didn't take no time out of the game. It was just entertaining knock to watch. It was a very personal knock. But for this one, for the team, it's a huge 50. So well played, Rishabh Pant. Absolutely wonderful batting.
And of course, it raises the question again about England's bowling. I mean, we're seeing balls that you'd be disappointed to see in a club game, and I don't mean that unkindly, but it's a fact. So they're all round the bat now. Of course they are for Kuldeep, who goes forward and blocks pretty easily. You've got to find another one of those Jaffers. Big spinner that gloves him or edges him. 3 are there to catch it, plus a short leg. Silly point, 2 slips, a short leg. That's a nice ball. It does go off the edge, but it doesn't carry to Ben Stokes. That's very frustrating for England, and after a word from the boys, it'll be Andrew McKenna.
Yeah, for me, it's just Moeen Ali shows so much ability. Gets pace on the ball. When he gets pace on the ball, he turns it, gets good drift. But this match so far has just been too many loose deliveries. Disappointing. Get those 2 early wickets. You want to keep the pressure on as best you can, particularly on Pant. You know he's going to come at you. I suppose that in your mindset, it's difficult to manage as well. The batsman's looking to attack you, but with a pitch like this, to not land the ball is just criminal.
Well, morning everyone. What a 4 overs this has been. Joe Root to start the 93rd. He's around the wicket, wide of Pant's off stump, and Pant allows it through to Ben Foakes, and there is no run. Resuming 300 for 6. India 317 for 8. Pant has gone to 50 and he allows this one outside of off stump to go through to Ben Foakes once again. So Pant's got 15 of them. He's moved to 50, and now Kuldeep with him at the other end. Akshar and Ishant both dismissed in the same over by Moeen Ali. Root again wide of off stump, nothing to do with that one, has Rishabh Pant.
Well, we know he's going to come at some point. 3 balls gone in the order, getting through the overs pretty quickly is Joe Root. It's just a matter of time.
Root's in, he's really floating that one, tempting him with virtually the wide ball, as if to say, well, go on then,
Yeah,
you can
see what he's doing here, and I think it's very good from Joe Root. He's bowling very wide of the off stump, and Pant's going to have to try and fetch it, and it's high risk for the batsman. Risk a top edge, ball going up, ballooning up, but it's good from Root. He's saying, if you want it, come and get it.
And with 2 to go in the over, the field comes in.
And this is when we should see the action. Right, he either looks for the single, so he's got the strike against Moeen Ali, who's picked up 2 wickets this morning but actually not got it right, or does he go for the boundaries, the large hit, the 4, the 6? And we've seen him hit quite a few 6s so far in this series. He's been excellent.
Well, you'd be tempted to leave Kuldeep on strike for Moeen because yes, he's bowled a couple of absolutely massive ones, but he's also bowled some full tosses which Kuldeep might survive. Pant is playing this one into the offside and will take a single, and therefore will leave Kuldeep on strike for just the final ball of this over. 318 for 8. And Pant was actually, his toes were outside of off stump there, and then walked further to the offside because he knew what Joe Root was doing. Gave him a cat and mouse between the 2 of them. So Kuldeep has faced 6 deliveries, yet to get off the mark, as Goffey was pointing out. And Joe Root is in. 2 slips in place, and Kuldeep has nothing to do with that one and allows it through to the keeper. No run. 93 overs of the innings gone here on TalkSport 2. 318 for 8. One thing to just quickly pick up on, we mentioned the crowd. I saw a lot of people on social media noticing yesterday that there didn't seem to be many face coverings. I've noticed from the coverage today on the pictures that virtually all of the spectators seem to be wearing face coverings today. So I wonder if there's been a bit of a directive from the ground that if people are coming in, they've got to wear them. And apparently the official crowd yesterday was only 9,000. We were told that 15,000, but apparently it was only 9,000 who were actually allowed through the gates yesterday.
Oh, whether Team England have said, listen, we don't mind crowds being in, we want it, it's creating an atmosphere. But they were supposed to be wearing face coverings, and nobody was. You're right, Macca.
Right, Rishabh Pant, 51 not out to Moeen Ali, and he's going to come down the pitch. Doesn't quite time this one, hacks it out to long off where Dan Lawrence will do the fielding, but he's staying put. So he's turning it down to stay on strike at the moment.
It'd be interesting the line Moeen's going to bowl to Rishabh Pant. We've seen Joe Root bowl wide as he possibly can on the offside.
Around the wicket is Moeen. Pant has nothing to do with that.
And it looks like Moeen Ali is going to bowl exactly the same line. So if he's going to bowl it out there and there's turn away from the left-handed batsman, he finds it very difficult to hit to the leg side without the risk of a top edge.
Moeen around the wicket, that's closer to the stumps, and Pant can lean back on this one, carve it into the offside. Dom Sibley will field on the cover boundary, but they're not taking the run there either.
I think that's right for Moeen to be bowling wider, because ultimately you're saying to the bats, you're saying to Pant, right, you want to score runs, come at me, come get the ball, and it's high risk. If he doesn't, Well, it's 1 and over, and that doesn't hurt England.
Moeen in, pant down the pitch, back over Moeen's head, and it's way over long off all the way for 6.
Dear me, I do love watching this guy bat. He's so entertaining. And this is a massive innings for his team. We've seen 2 sloppy wickets this morning. You could say one from a bit of great keeping from Ben Foakes, but this guy can bat. On turning pitches, he just runs at the spinners. He backs himself to clear the ropes, and yet it's another 6 to Rishabh.
Went straight again, didn't he, Goffey? The minute Moeen, or any of the bowlers, comes straight onto the stumps, Pant attacks them, looking to either go straight over the head or to the leg side.
They've got 3 out on the leg side boundary. Now, mid-off is dropping out to long off. There's also a point on the boundary. The man at extra cover on the boundary is coming back in. So there are 6, 7, because if we include third man down on the boundary as well. Now it's Pant trying to dab it into the offside. Turns and bounces a little bit, that one from Moeen through to Ben Foakes, and there's no run.
I don't get the deep point, especially if they want to keep him off strike, because that's an easy get out for him. He can either reverse it there, or he can just open his face and it's going to run out for a single. So I get the deep mid off, I get the deep mid on, but not a deep point.
So final ball of the over for Moeen Ali. Oh, that is a good one. Turn, bounce, and Pant was trying to just push it into the offside to scamper a single, and actually beat himself as much as the ball, and the ball was a good one. End of the over, 324 for 8. India, they resumed this morning, as I mentioned, 300 for 6. And I was just having a look before play started at the odds from our friends at 888 Sport. At tea yesterday, when we spoke to Sandro Di Michele, England was 6-1 shots. Those 2 wickets this morning have brought them into 5-1. So that's certainly not saying that they're going to win this game, but people seem to have some belief after those 2 early wickets.
Listen, some first innings, England are going to come out and got to believe they can get runs on the board. We saw Joe Root, the way he played spin the last inning. We've got Ben Stokes, who can come to the crease and change that momentum. He can play this sort of knock that Rishabh Pant's played. We've got the stubbornness of Dom Sibley at the top of the innings.
We've got Joe Root with 3 man of the matches in the row. He's into bowl again, and Kuldeep is covering the line of that one. It's through to Ben Foakes, and there is no run. Yeah, Joe Root joined a pretty elite club who've won 3 man of the match awards in consecutive test matches. Only 1 man in test history has done it 4 times. If Joe Root therefore wins another one, he joins that incredibly elite list. Matai Muralitharan. Joe Root around the wickets. It's pushed out on the offside by Kuldeep, no run. The others who've done it 3 times: Ian Botham, Wasim Akram, Jacques Kallis, Mike Hussey, and our very own Steve Harmison. And yes, I will take you through that in a minute. Root around the wicket, 2 slips in place for Kuldeep. He's playing this back down the pitch to Root, and there is no run. Jamaica in 2004, of course, then backed it up with Trinidad, but didn't get it in Barbados, as Graham Thorpe got it in the 3rd match. Root settles at the end of his run, and we'll now come into Kuldeep. Taps his bat a couple of times. Root around the wicket, it's hurried through, and Kuldeep pushes into the offside. So you actually have to work backwards from Jamaica, and England's last test match before they went to Jamaica was against Bangladesh in Dakar. Now, I wouldn't have put Steve Harmison down for a 9 for in a Dakar test, but that's exactly what he got, and that was his first of 3 man of the matches in the row.
Well done, Stevie boy.
Actually, Bats will be in shortly. You can tell us a bit about that game, because Bats actually played in that one. Joe Root around the wickets. That's almost Yorker length there as it's homing in towards the stumps. Kuldeep is keeping it out. 324 for 8.
See, this is where you need Jack Leach bowling at the lower order batsman, don't you, with skill into that rough.
Short leg, 2 slips in place as that's fired in by Joe Root, but Kuldeep keeps it out. It's a huge applause. End of the over. It's TalkSport 2, 324 for 8. Jared Kimber.
So Kuldeep still hasn't scored from 13 balls. Very, very early days in this. The test record for the longest zero before scoring a run, so that's in terms of time, was Stuart Broad, 103 minutes, but he doesn't have it for balls. The longest duck is Jeff Allett, who made a 77 ball duck. And there is also John Murray made 0 off 79 balls at the SCG in 1962-63, and Sunil Joshi batted for 2 hours in a first-class game without scoring.
Nice work, thank you, Jared.
Not for Sunil Joshi. 2 hours.
Yeah, you wouldn't necessarily enjoyed watching that one. What year was that, by the way?
That was 2005-2006, so
Okay.
quite recently. Jeff Allett was the one who took all the wickets in the '99 World Cup, and Manners is now saying he commentated on that. I think Manners might have also commentated on John Murray in 62-63 though. So thanks to Gary Morgan for those stats.
Lovely, thank you very much. Well, Goffey and Matt have moved out. Gareth Batty has moved in, and Akash will be with us very shortly as well, as England decide to turn to pace. Ollie Stone has ball in hand. So, very good morning, Gareth Batty.
Very good morning, Macca. Very good morning to the early risers who are listening to us. But it's been an incredible start again, hasn't it? All action yet again. It's fascinating Test cricket. 2 wickets from Moeen Ali, and then lots of runs from Pant, sixes galore. It's been incredible.
So they've decided, right, time to turn to pace, and can you hit Ollie Stone, the quickest bowler for England in the match? But they've still got the field spread. 324 for 8, as Pant is going to take guard about 8 or 9 centimetres outside of the crease. Ollie Stone is immediately round the wicket. Pant is using his feet, pushing him into the offside. They're going to take one. He's pushed it to point, but Ben Stokes has haired after that one from slip, and it is just a single taken.
Ooh, first ball of the over. Interesting stuff. Is this a mistake from Pant? This is where England would probably wish that it was Jack Leach bowling at Yadav, just spinning it out that rough coming into him. It is curious why he's not bowling at the minute, because you just feel Goffey had just mentioned it before he came off air there. That's just such a threat to the tail end batsman. But obviously, with Pant at the other end, is it too big a risk for England? And at the minute, Joe Root decides it is. He's gone with his big, nasty, fasty. Bowled in excess of 90 miles an hour consistently yesterday.
Interesting that Pant took that. They've turned down a lot of runs as well, and yet he's dropped it into the offside. They were looking for 2, but there was never going to be 2 there, and therefore he's exposed Kuldeep with 5 balls of the over to go. Ollie Stone with his tail up will come in once again. He's got 1 for 43 so far. He's got a short one in, and that has taken Kuldeep on the body, probably around the shoulder height. He did sort of duck down. It wasn't a big sort of booming bouncer, that one, but he's had to wear one there, and that will be the concern. And actually, that didn't get up as much as Kuldeep or I expected at first, and Ollie Pope at short leg was looking for some action there.
Yeah, I'm not sure there'll be too many youngsters listening, but for those who are, got to keep your eye on the ball. He ducked and turned his head very, very early there. Kuldeep spotted the short ball and took evasive action. You can still do that by watching the ball. The more you watch it, the better chance you have of not getting smacked, whether it be on the head or the body. We don't wish anybody any real damage, but certainly it's tough times for him with Ollie Stone really charging in here.
Highest test score of 26 for Kuldeep. That's made in his previous 6 test matches. Averages 8.5, and England have immediately got the leg gully in place. Stone is going to go in, edge through to wicket-keeper Ben Foakes, and Kuldeep's stay is over. Rishabh Pant took a single off the first ball of the over, and from the third, he's feathered it through to the keeper, having been roughed up by the short one. And India have lost their third of the morning, 325 for 9.
Oh, well deserved, Ollie Stone. He charged in all day yesterday. Arguably, England's most consistent and threatening bowler yesterday, which is a strange thing to say, but no, just rewards for him. Got his second wicket of the game now, as you say. Macca roughed him up with the short stuff, set him back in the crease, and then bowled a beautiful ball just the top of the stumps. He was staying a fraction leg side of it and just opened the face and feathered it through to another victim for Ben Foakes behind the stumps, who's had a pretty impressive innings so far, stroke game. But good rewards for Ollie Stone there. He's really bowled great lines with great intensity, in and around that 90 miles an hour. I think that was 143 kilometres, but good rewards for Ollie Stone.
Well, Akash Chopra, the former Indian Test batsman, is with us. Akash, it's been an interesting morning for India so far. 3 wickets down and 25 runs on the board.
Yes, good morning to you and everyone listening. This is, of course, a slightly different kind of morning, but then this is that kind of a surface where wickets are going to tumble, and no matter how good your or maybe slash tail is, they are unlikely to survive for too long. So Rishabh Pant is, of course, holding one end up, and he's the aggressor, but the others need a lot of luck to survive. So I'm not surprised. Few wickets just on the morning of the second day.
Well, Mohammad Siraj is the man in at number 11. 19 runs in his 3 previous Test matches with a best of 13, and he's got 3 balls of this over to face. England 2 slips, gully, point, leg slip, short leg. Here comes Ollie Stone. He stepped back and carved him over point for 4. What a shot that is! Well, that's a way to get off the mark.
I mean, this young fella's he's only just got back from Australia, so the chin music is something he's been used to for a few weeks stroke months. Ollie Stone there didn't really commit to the short ball. He stayed a bit leg side. Was he up to task? Was he ever? Flays it over that offside, up and over point, a bit of an uppercut. Siraj straight off and running. It's all action still.
He's played that deliberately. That's wow. Okay, Ollie Stone, 2 for 47 so far. There's a 3 for any of this for him. Surely he's going full ball. Darren Gough is calling it here in the commentary box. He's gone short ball. It's been feathered through, and he is out, caught behind, second ball. So 329 all out. Ollie Stone ends up with a 3 for 47 from 15 overs and 5 balls, and Rishabh Pant is left 58 not out from 77 deliveries. It was a shortish ball, dug in. He's tried to guide it over the slips down to third man is Siraj, and he's just got a touch on it, a feather through to Ben Foakes, the England wicketkeeper, and the innings is done and dusted. So 329 India put on the board. They won the toss yesterday, and in 95 overs and 5 balls have posted 329. Gareth Batty, your thoughts on that first innings for India, therefore?
Yeah, I mean, the good thing from an England point of view, they wrapped it up relatively quickly this morning. I think 329 first innings on a pitch that, well, the surface has been disturbed from the 5th ball of the innings. You would think that's a pretty good first innings score. I'm suggesting we talk around the 450, 500 plus. I think that's up there. On this surface, it feels like a big total. England have got their work cut out. I think India will start with spin. I think they'll have a pace ace from one end and spin the other, and it's going to be trial by big spin, I think, for England here. But Rishabh Pant again stranded on 58. We keep talking about it being high risk the way he plays. I don't think it is. As soon as Joe Root threw it into the rough, he left it alone. As soon as they came on the good bit of the pitch, he smacked it out the ground. I think he's actually a really smart batter, and India will look to support him a little bit more wherever possible throughout the series. But the standout performer for India, Rohit Sharma. Wow. I don't have the words to describe eloquently enough the way that man played. 161. A partnership of 162 with Rahane really set this innings up. And it looks like a pretty good scorecard for India. In England bowled okay in patches. I think Ollie Stone actually ended up the standout bowler there, 3 for 47. Toiled, hit the pitch hard, bowled really quickly at times. Jack Leach getting his 2 for 78. Moeen Ali chipping in with 4 for 120, a little bit more expensive than he possibly would have liked. But an okay performance from England, you would say, but I think we have to wax lyrical about how well India played with the bat.
Well, let's take you through the card, and then we'll get Akash's thoughts. So Rohit Sharma, 161 for the opener. Shubman Gill got a third ball duck. Pujara, 21. Kohli, 0. Rahane, 67. Pant, 58 not out. Ashwin, 13. Akshar, 5. Ishant, a duck. Kuldeep, a duck. Siraj, 4 for the 329 all out. The bowling figures: Stuart Broad, 11 overs, 2 maidens, 0 for 37. Ollie Stone, 15 overs and 5 balls, 5 maidens, 3 for 47. Jack Leach, 27 overs, 3 maidens, 2 for 78. Ben Stokes, 2 overs for 16. Moeen Ali, 29 overs, 3 maidens, 4 for 128. And Joe Root, 11 overs, 3 maidens, 1 for 23. Well, Akash, you said to us yesterday, 350, you're absolutely well in the game. Towards the end of the day, Matt Pryor was saying in the commentary, give me 300, I'll be absolutely delighted. Well, India are almost bang in between those two, so from that point of view, they've got to be happy to get 329 on the board in this first innings.
Absolutely. At the start of the innings, if India were given the option of taking 329, they would have taken it with both hands, because this is a tough surface. And when you look at 329 and you take away one massive innings of 161, you're left with nothing. And he's an opener who got dismissed when the scoreboard was 248. That was when Rohit Sharma got out. And Indian innings hasn't really moved forward since then. So you know that just the class of Rohit Sharma neutralized the conditions somewhat. And he was the only guy who dominated. Let me go a step further and say that that might just be the only century that we'll see in this game. This is not the kind of surface where you can bide your time, then you get set, you gauge the pace and the bounce of the surface, and then you start dictating terms. This is not going to be that kind of a surface. It is not. And I'm expecting Ravichandran Ashwin. I won't be surprised actually if Ravichandran Ashwin takes the new ball and then Akshar Patel comes into the action very soon, and you'd find the ball jumping from a good length spot. That's been happening so far, and you would expect far more consistency and discipline from the Indian spin trio of Ashwin, Akshar and Kuldeep Yadav.
It will be interesting to watch Akshar, because obviously he missed the first test, for anyone who wasn't aware, with a knee problem. He's back available for this one and playing. But the day before the match, the BCCI Twitter feed actually put out some footage of him bowling in the nets, and he still had sort of strapping below the left knee. So that was obviously where he had the issue in this. So he's not had as much cricket as everyone else in recent times. In some way, with back-to-back games, that might work in his favour. But as we've seen with Moeen Ali, if you're not match sharp, it sometimes can cause some problems, can't it?
It can, of course, but then if you are a left-arm spinner and you were given an opportunity to make a debut, for example, on a surface like this, you would be delighted. This is a spinner's paradise. Your team has been fortunate to win the toss and bat first. You have to only start bowling in the on day 2. And him with Kuldeep Yadav, I think there'll be more than a handful. And to be fair, England's record against, or rather recent records against left-arm spin, that hasn't been that great, barring that last test against Shahbaz Nadeem, where Joe Root actually dominated. I think Indian spinners, you'll find out that Indian spinners will be far more effective on this surface as compared to their English counterparts.
Gareth Batty, we saw with England in Sri Lanka what I think we now officially call the Embledenia effect. England's openers had issues with left-arm spin. If we're, I mean, Akash makes a great point that Ashwin could open the bowling. But is there a case for getting Akshar in straight away at the top of the innings? Because we've seen England do have issues at the top of the order against the turning ball, and we are pretty much convinced this is going to turn.
Oh, it's going to spin, that is for sure. We've seen the ball spin all game. It's not going to stop now. I'd be amazed. Something very strange in the world if that happens. It's a different opening partnership. Burns comes in as a left-hander. Ashwin bowled an absolute beauty to remove Burns in the second innings of the first Test match. So I don't see anything other than Ashwin if a spinner starts. I would be starting with Ashwin definitely, and I feel like Ashwin will be confident against Sibley and have options to him. How he's going to dismiss him, but I think Akshar Patel will be a massive advantage to India. if he bowls anything like I've only really seen him bowl in white ball cricket, but if he bowls anything like it, where he's sort of wide of the crease, angling in towards the stumps, he's quite a tall bowler, he's got a high arm. All he needs to do is get some revolutions. You don't need to be a big spinner of the ball to get it off the straight on this surface. He is going to be a handful, that is for sure. He'll have to bide his time for a few overs, but I think he will have. I said at the start of the game, and I stick by it, I think he will be the difference in the two teams.
So the pitch has been given a quick brush up in the 10 minutes between, and the England reply will be underway shortly. Of course, it will be Burns and Sibley in the first innings of the first test at Chennai. Rory Burns made 33 while Dom Sibley made 87. In the second innings, it was a duck for Rory Burns. Of course, Ashwin got him the very first ball of the innings, caught it slip off Rahane. Sibley made 16 in that, so they've spent some time together, and they will be looking to set up base camp for England for this innings. In terms of this match, Gareth, how close do England have to be on first innings after this, if you see what I'm saying? You know, if they give up 50, 75 with only 329 in the Indian first innings, we're talking about a sizable amount, aren't we?
Yeah, it's too many. It's the equivalent of 200 runs on a normal Indian surface, where you're looking at 550. It's like getting bowled out 350 for me. It's a huge sum to be getting and making up. The pitch should only get worse from now, but even if it stays as it is, it's the equivalent of a fourth, fifth day pitch. It is tough for batting, and we showed even just this morning Joe Root bowling around the wicket and hitting the rough. You limit options for batsmen. I'm not saying you're always going to get them out, but the game is going nowhere, and there will be a ball in it. I just think the surface is going to dictate scoring rates and how people can play on this surface, and it isn't going to get any easier. England need to get almost parity if they can, but certainly within 20-30 runs to have any sort of a chance. They need 300.
Well, the players have made their way out to the middle. It is going to be Ishant Sharma who takes the ball for the first over of the England first innings. Rory Burns is taking guard to describe the first over of the England reply. For the first time this morning, Neil Manthorpe.
Thank you very much indeed, Macca. Yeah, it's going to take a very positive mindset and positive, never mind positive mindset, positive batting and some proactivity rather than just sitting in back and waiting for scoring opportunities to come your way. I don't think there'll be as many from the Indian spinners in particular as there were from England's. Ishant Sharma then, the question is whether Mohammad Siraj will take the second over. Just past 300 wickets in the previous test match. 11 5-wicket hauls, one 10-wicket test match. Tell you what, there's more than 9,000 people in today, I reckon. Just visually, we haven't had a number yet, but apparently the official crowd figure yesterday was 9,000. I think there's a few more in today. Or maybe they're just making more noise. Or maybe they're all just sitting together.
Or maybe they just make up the number anyway.
Yeah, nice round number, wasn't it? 9,000. Not
bang on
9,128. No, 9,000. But they are making a good noise as Ishant begins his long run up into his full stride now. On strike, Rory Burns leaves alone outside the off stump.
It's brilliant, isn't it? That noise, the crescendo as Ishant's running in. That's what it's all about. We're watching too much live sport without enough of this in the background. I think this is amazing. This is what it's all about. The theatre. It's all there.
I've become so used to the artificial crowd noise. Well, it's not artificial, but it's because it's a real crowd. It's just not genuine. I'm finding the real thing almost quite disconcerting. Here's Ishant Sharma once again, and that's gone like an off break. That's just hit the seam and taken off. Rory Burns left it alone because it was too wide of the off stump anyway, but that has literally gone like an off break.
I think it was Goffey on comms earlier that said, he's almost got goosebumps when the crowd is starting to get involved now. We've been without it for so long now, it feels like for so long. Just having it back, you sit here now and you say, this is what it's all about. You feel the contest now, you feel why we love live sport. And this is going to be an incredible first hour's play for England.
Rory Burns had a disappointing first test match. He's on strike now. There are 3 slips and he's struck on the pad. There's an appeal for leg before wicket. It was surely heading down the leg side. He's given him! He's given him! Oh, look! It looked certain to be heading down the leg side. But he had a good long think about it, did umpire Virender Sharma. And eventually the finger went up, and I'm not surprised that Rory Burns has reviewed this. Dom Sibley was shaking his head saying, mate, I don't think so. I don't think that was hitting.
Fair delivery.
Yeah, Sharma's definitely trying to go across Burns. It's just whether it's straightened enough through the air.
I mean,
looks no bad, just
it's
double
pretty
check
high,
with
isn't
the
it, as well as... my immediate thought was that it was heading down the leg side.
To the bed. No bat, flat line.
Remember, it's been given, so umpire's call will do for Rory Burns.
Yeah, ball breaking when you're ready, please. Pitching outside.
Surely that's missing leg stump.
Impact in line.
No, it's just touching leg stump. It's just clipping.
Stay with your signal. Thank you.
So credit to Virender Sehwag. Third umpire Anil Chowdhury can only go with ball tracking. And Rory Burns, disappointing series continues. And Ishant Sharma has wicket number 301.
Yeah, it's just that it's that around the wicket from Sharma, and what he's done all his career, he just falls away a little bit in his action. He loses his left side trying to get it away from the left-handed Burns, and because of that it pitches in the tram lines and straightens just enough. It was a 50-50 call we saw on the review. It was only just clipping, but when the umpire's already given it out, that's going against you from a batting point of view. But all of a sudden you feel like this crowd, it's India's 12th man. You feel the noise, you feel the energy. Even sat in my chair here thousands of miles away, you can feel it. There's more on this now with the crowd being in the stadium. And what a start from the great man, the 300 man.
That's right. Dan Lawrence comes to the crease after just 3 balls, and Rory Burns have to put things right in the second innings because he's had a disappointing tour so far. 2 slips, gully, short mid-wicket, mid-on, mid-off, square leg, and fine legs just moving finer now for some reason. Virat Kohli's imploring the crowd to raise the noise level. Here's Ishant Sharma. Dan Lawrence comes forward and he pushes it up towards mid-off. It's like the athletes who stand at the top of the long jumpers and the triple jumpers and the high jumpers for that matter. They get the crowd going and start clapping. That's what Virat Kohli's doing from slip. Hello, Jared Kimber.
Yeah, I think I know why the crowd's so excited. That was a world record for the highest innings without an extra, and I think that's really what's got them amped up, not so much the wicket.
Not a single extra.
Yeah, that's the highest innings we've ever had without an extra in Test cricket.
Goodness me. Here is Ishant Sharma once more, and forward comes Dan Lawrence, nudging it up towards mid-on.
In the NFL, they call that sort of stuff scoregami.
Origami?
Scoregami. Origami's with paper.
And scoregami is?
Weird stuff with numbers, really, that doesn't mean anything, but it sounds nice to say it.
329 is the highest score in the history of Test cricket. All 2,490. How many Test matches have there been, Jared?
Way more than 2,000. I can tell you that because I was at the 2,000th one.
I think it's 2,500. Here's Ishant Sharma, and that one beats outside edge. Ishant Sharma tumbles over in his follow-through. Got a bit of pace going at the moment as Ishant Sharma as well. England are 0 for 1. Dan Lawrence faced 3 balls, so did Rory Burns. Unfortunately, he was dismissed with his third delivery, and Dan Lawrence just a little bit late on playing at that one.
But also a bit of movement laterally for Sharma. That one, previous 2 balls have just on the angle, just run into sort of the inside edge of off stump, and Dan Lawrence up to task, played very nice forward defensive shot. This one, the last ball of the over, just angled away from him, hit the pitch and held its line, doing Lawrence on the outside, going through to Pant. And however many thousand are in there, it feels like 100,000 at the minute. They were up, they were appealing. Was that a catch? No. Lawrence played inside the line, but they're getting behind Ishant there, and wait for the noise here when Ashwin gets through his first over. This is absolute cauldron stuff for England. You feel the crowd are all over them, Kohli's all over them, the bowlers have started well. This is a real examination for 2 young men, 2 very fine England batsmen.
Ashwin, of course, on his home ground. This is his home crowd, and they absolutely adore him. He is a hero. 3 men round the bat. Ashwin, first delivery, and it's pushed away by Dom Sibley behind square on the offside. It is a fabulous atmosphere. I'm not entirely sure. Well, I don't know whether Dom Sibley and Dan Lawrence think it was a good atmosphere. Sibley forward again, playing this one defensively out towards short mid-wicket. Leg slip, short leg, short mid-wicket. I mean, I assume they would. I mean, I know that the crowd are not cheering for the batsman at the moment. Ashwin in once more, and Sibley comes forward and plays it behind square on the offside. I would imagine they've got goosebumps, you know, hair standing up on the back of their necks, loving the atmosphere.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it will be adding to the adrenaline pumping through their veins. In 25 overs, when they're both 50 not out, they'll think this crowd's amazing.
Yeah, Ashwin in again. Oh, turned round the corner, almost carries to Virat Kohli at leg slip. He dived forward and he just couldn't get the fingers underneath that one. Played with the spin. Oh, well, I think it came off the glove, which is why it didn't carry.
An explosion as the ball hit the surface again, wasn't there?
Here is Ashwin again, and that's full, and it's driven. Push drive from Dom Sibley out towards short mid-wicket. Yeah, the one that Sibley gloved round the corner to leg slip has just taken chunks out of the pitch. Here's Ashwin. That's very full, driven to mid-wicket, and they go through for a single. Very, very quick call from Dan Lawrence. Quick response as well from Sibley. Picked up by Akshar Patel, who had a shy at the stumps at the non-striker's end. But that's the first run for England. 1 for 1. They've lost Rory Burns for a 3rd ball duck. LBW to Ishant Sharma. India earlier resuming on 300 for 6, bowled out for 329. That part of the day couldn't have gone better. Now they've got the task of batting on this surface.
Yeah, it's about controlling those senses, the emotions. India on a high, and they're playing with that emotion. They're using the crowd. You can feel it. It's almost like gladiatorial now out there. And just for these 2 young fellas, have a bit of a chat in the middle, just calm the nerves down. Everything's cool. Just another day at the office. Ishant Sharma coming in. We've faced people like this in county cricket, wherever they've played their cricket. Take everything out of it. Go about your process, take your guard. Dom Sibley stepping back. His pre-ball prep. And then into the battle.
Ishant Sharma from the Pataviraman gate end. Up to the crease now, bowls, it's full and straight, and Sibley blocks it defensively, straight back towards the bowler, and there's no run.
As if there isn't enough going on, Manners. I think that one just kept a little bit low on Dom Sibley. He just managed to get the toe end of the bat on it.
Here is Ishant once more, stands at the top of his run-up. He bowled a very, very good, fired-up first over. And I must say, he's looking like the wily veteran that he has become. Made his debut very, very young. Purely on the basis that India had so few fast bowlers that everybody got excited when he came along, and he made his debut probably, he by his own admission, a little bit too early. This one is flicked away behind square on the leg side. And first boundary of the innings to Dom Sibley. That was in at the pads, fired in at the pads from Ishant Sharma. Did he just get a little bit of shape there as well?
Yeah, I think Ishant Sharma just fell away in his action a little bit, just pushed the ball into middle and leg stump. Big Dom does not miss it on middle and leg stump very often.
No.
That's meat and drink for him. It really is his onion. He just absolutely pounces on that and clips it behind square. 4 runs. That'll just calm the nerves a bit, and it'll just dull down the senses of the crowd a fraction. Just getting one into the boundary ropes.
Dom Sibley moves on to 5. Dan Lawrence yet to get off the mark. England 5 for 1 in response to India's 329. Here's Ishant Sharma once again, left alone outside the off stump by Sibley, and England remain 5 for 1. Welcome to our listeners on TalkSport, joining us here on TalkSport 2, live exclusive ball-by-ball commentary of England's whole tour of India. 4 test matches, 5 T20s and 3 one-day internationals. The news is that India been bowled out for 329, resuming on 300 for 6. Rishabh Pant was left stranded on unbeaten on 58. Moeen Ali took 2 wickets in 1 over to finish with 4 for 128, and Ollie Stone 3 for 47. It's a terrific return from the big Warwickshire paceman. 3 for 47. Here is Ishant once again. Sibley on strike, struck on the pad, maybe a little inside edge. It was certainly too high for the LBW appeal. So England began their response to India's 329 by losing Rory Burns to the 3rd ball of the innings, LBW. He did review it. It looked initially very leg side-ish, and it turned out that the ball was just grazing the leg stump. That ball bounced a bit extra, didn't it? That's actually hit Sibley on the forearm.
Yeah, it was just groping forward, feeling for the ball in and around that sort of corridor, that off-stump area. Just faded in towards the bat and hit him on the back right forearm as he's pushing forward. That would have been a painful blow.
Yeah, he doesn't wear an arm guard, Sibley. Here's Ishant Sharma again, and once more, leg side. You don't want to be bowling there to Dom Sibley. He's so good off his legs. And they come back for the second run as he turns it down towards long leg. Mohammad Siraj gets a good, hard, powerful throw in, but Sibley was returning very quickly for the second run and made his ground quite easily. He's just getting a little bit too much movement back into the right-hander as Ishant Sharma. He needs to be bowling a little wider of the off-stump if he's going to get the in-ducker going to the right-handers. 2 slips and a gully as well. He needs to be going straight on. Try and bring that slip cordon into play while the ball is still nice and hard and shiny, and still has the bounce to carry to slip. 2 slips gully, and there's also a leg gully. I wouldn't say backward short leg, but he's deeper than that. A little closer than conventional gully, but behind square on the leg side. Here's Ishant Sharma once again, and forward comes Sibley, pushing that one up towards Ashwin at mid-on, and there's no run. 3 overs gone. England are 7 for 1 in reply to India's 329. Another word from Darren Gough it will be, and then it'll be Mark Nicholas for the next 20 minutes.
Well, that's what the captain Virat Kohli wants from his fast bowler. Ishant Sharma, we've seen over the years, he's got a huge heart. He attacks with the new ball. He's not so bothered about going for runs. He can always drag it back with his immaculate line and length as the day goes on. But he's attacking the stumps, looking for that wicket, striving probably a little too hard at the moment, slipping the odd one, just starting it too straight, which ends up slipping down the leg side to Dom Sibley. But it was a big wicket to get one with the new ball, especially when at the other end you've got Ashwin, one of the best spinners around in world cricket today. Mark Nicholas.
Yep, and we've got him with a slip a leg slip, a short leg, a short mid-wicket, so 4 attacking fielders, 3 of them around the bat, waiting to feed off any error here from Dan Lawrence. Such a competitive young guy. This is a proper cauldron out there, even if it isn't a full house. That doesn't spin at all, actually. Comes off the pitch very slowly, off a length, and Lawrence goes back and plays it. A far cry from Chingford Cricket Club, born out of Leytonstone. And his dad prepared the wicket there. They'd have been flatter than this one, and won't have had quite the quality of bowler against him either. But he is a fighter, this guy. Got cricket running through his blood, adores the game, works hard at it, and loves a scrap. Well, he's got a scrap here. Here's Ashwin again as he defends again. So consecutive balls there that he pushes out the leg side, and there's so much noise around the bat. This is what you sort of prime yourself for and expect. And he's gives himself a little smile as if to say, well, I can deal with the noise. Can I deal with the ball? That's the question. That's turned a little and disturbed the surface. You got puffs of dust coming out of it. Here it is again from Ashwin. Oh, he's beaten him with a good one. Goes the other way. I don't think it was the carrying ball, just a bit of natural variation.
It's going to be hard, isn't it, facing Ashwin with his varieties, his subtle varieties. Like I said, that one went straight on, played inside it, playing towards the leg side, Dan Lawrence. Scissor kick with his feet, and just goes past his outside edge.
He got into a bit of a mess, didn't he? Here's Ashwin again, he sweeps now, hit him outside the line of off stump. He's fine, he's fine. The umpire isn't interested. Screams from, and Kohli's just telling Pant to calm down.
He was as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he doesn't want him to, upset the umpire. You want the appeals to be relevant. I think Kohli did well there, just to remind Pant that can't appeal every ball. Lawrence goes to sweep, gets an under edge. It's fielded at leg slip, so a challenging over, but dealt with by Lawrence, not without alarm. And now Kohli's having a word with one or two of the guys around the bat, saying, calm down, everybody. Let's use our energy and aggression for what we really think is out. 7 for 1 England. Rory Burns a bit unlucky, I felt, with that LBW. There were plenty in the first test and in India's first innings here that umpires didn't give out. They were only just clipping the stumps. But I mean, that is the nature of the DRS beast, if we call it a beast.
No, he's spot on. But once he gave it, I just thought he would just clip him, wasn't it? Always. Once the umpire gave that decision.
Oh, yeah, no, completely.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
But Virat Kohli, with the noise in the ground from the fans allowed back out there. This is now what you would consider a normal test match in Indian conditions.
Ishant Sharma steaming in now, bowls just outside off stump, gets it to just shape away, not curve away. Sibley leaves alone. Yeah, and it's not even half a crowd. It's not even a third of the crowd yet. So imagine what it's like when it's full. The fact is that all they've heard about playing cricket in India is right before them, and if you multiplied it by 3, you'd have the usual crowd, but you can still get the sense of it.
It's great though. I mean, as a player myself, I used to love that noise and love the passion of the fans when you're going out to bowl or bat. You're there to entertain. You said it earlier, Mark, and it's your opportunity.
Yep. Well, it's gladiatorial. I think in comes Ishant Sharma. Bowls a nice ball and a nice defensive stroke from Sibley. Didn't quite get his foot out near the ball in the way that perhaps we saw Rahane and Rohit Sharma do yesterday, but he watched it closely and played it very straight.
He's another bowler, isn't he, Mark? Ishant Sharma. He's got better with age, similar to Jimmy Anderson, Stuart Broad and Ishant Sharma. There's so many of these guys around the world that find the line, find the length, find the best way to get the batsman out over many, many years of trying to reach perfection. And when they get a little bit older, a little bit greyer, they seem to find their length and line.
Here he comes again. He's a very tall man. He's running in very fast. He reaches crease, bowls a good ball at Sibley. Very full, outside edge, shoots down to third man for 4. Opening batsmen deserve those. If you've got to play the best fast bowlers in the world with a new nut, day in, day out, if that is your trade, you deserve the odd thick edge flying for 4.
You do indeed, but it's well bowled again from Ishant Sharma. A good length, bringing the batsman forward, just kept a little bit low. And as usual, Dom likes to play those balls. Anything that drifts onto middle and off towards middle, likes to play it through the leg side. Played it with an angled bat, but it just shot away through that slip cordon for 4 runs on the ground all the way.
Got to get the feet going, hasn't he? He's reaching for the ball. The feet are in the crease, in a pot. I won't say what sort of pot, as you used to say up in Yorkshire. And they're in a pot. If you could just get them going, get a bit nimble on the feet, the bat might come through a little straighter. Ishant again, challenging the stumps. See, even that goes to mid-on. Other batsmen, well, I say those 2 Indians yesterday, that might have gone to mid-off. I don't want to be critical because this is a real examination, and Sibley, if he conquers it, will conquer it with his mind. He's got a very strong mind and a good record so far, as he learns about Test match cricket almost every day. An average of 37 in Test match cricket, 37 and a half against Rory Burns 30, the 2 of them, and of course Zach Crawley keep battling away for these places. Crawley would have batted at 3 instead of Dan Lawrence. So Lawrence has a chance in this game to ask bigger questions for the next Test match when they say Crawley will be fit. Here's Sharma again. That's nicely played, and that's 2 full from Ishant Sharma, and all Sibley did was lean on it. Feet were a bit better, came right out of the middle of the bat through straightish mid-on or wideish mid-wicket, whichever you like. And well, other way around, isn't it? Wideish mid-on and straightish mid-wicket, actually, and it's 4.
Again, Ishant Sharma trying to ball straight at Dom Sibley. They got fielders in place on the leg side, but Dom is such a good player. He stands tall. His natural bat shape is to come from third man towards mid-wicket. He gets good contact on it, and it flies. He's so good in that area, so strong.
That was a perfect example of what you were talking about, wasn't it? That replay we saw on TV that our listeners can't see, that the bat that comes from straightish third man towards wide mid-on. That's exactly right. And it just, the ball seemed to follow it, homed in on the middle of the bat.
Oh, he hits it so well, Mark.
Yes,
I mean, he's so strong off his legs.
He does. Here's Ishant Sharma again. He wants to be at off stump, not middle stump. He is at off stump and beats him with a beauty that holds its line, so it feels to the batsman as if it leaves him, and then bounces through waist height to the keeper. Lovely stuff. 15 for 1 from 5 in response to India's extraordinary performance this morning, I have to say. 329 they made in the end, and it was a mixture of Fred Karnos and Rishabh Pant's out there, wasn't it? It was sort of circus batting, and Pant at his best.
Yeah, listen, a brilliant stumping from Ben Foakes, although some blame has got to go on to the batsman to be dragged out. Yes, you could say it's a brilliant bit of bowling, but a brilliant bit of keeping, but still, to be searching and desperately overbalancing when you're trying to play a forward defensive, it was a gimme. It was a gimme, but a great bit of keeping as well.
Here's Danger Man, R. Ashwin. Slip, leg slip, short leg, short mid-on, Dan Lawrence on strike. Goes back and plays a straight ball. Careful of getting himself very squared up. He has a laugh with Rishabh Pant. I don't know why, but he does. I think they knew he didn't read that ball. That might have been a carry, perhaps. Down he comes, uses his feet, gets near the pitch of it. They're sure winding him up around that bat. This is not ferocious stuff, but it's full-on stuff.
Well, he'll have heard this plenty of times in county cricket. It goes on a lot. It probably goes on more in county cricket than it does in Test cricket.
Well, but it's not like the India in India. And not one ball has turned. Again, he's defending on the back foot. At the moment, he can play as if it comes straight. This is different, Goffin. This is India in India. These are the best players in the world, the number one team getting at him, wanting a place in the World Test Championship final, wanting to get the 1-all in the series. Ashwin again bowls, and he goes forward and plays that ball comfortably enough for orthodox forward defensive shot.
Aren't New Zealand number one Test team in the world?
Well, maybe in their own conditions.
Yeah, exactly.
Hard to beat there.
Well, they've played a lot of Test matches in their own conditions as well, New Zealand.
They have, yeah. Nice full ball, and he flicks it leg side, but he can't find the single he wants because there's a short mid-wicket and a mid-wicket behind him. No one at square leg. Got quite a strong grip that means he works the ball leg side a lot. He's known, I think, a little bit as leg side Harry. And back he goes and defends. Plays that really well. Good footwork, good straight bat. End of the over, a maiden, 15 for 1. Leg side Harry, because he's got his top hand is in a strong position, i.e. tucked in behind the bat, and his bottom hand is wrapped underneath it a bit, and it tends to mean that you hit the ball. Your default position is to go leg side, not offside.
Do you know something, Mark? A lot of the players, young players, do play like that. I mean, my son is very much a leg-sided player as well, and he was on the staff there with Dan Lawrence at Essex. And I was speaking to him just last night about Dan, because he was obviously similar age and he was there with him, and he said he had so much confidence, Dad, so much confidence as a youngster. He believed in his ability. People were telling him about how he plays it to the leg side, whips across the line, but he's got to stop doing it. But as he's proved, he's got to now the international stage, got a lot of runs playing county cricket, and now he's got his opportunity with England. I think he's going to have to take some runs this game to keep his place, because I think Dom Sibley will be fit for the third test, so there's something to play
Zach
for.
Crawley.
Oh, sorry, Zach Crawley, yeah.
It's okay. Well, he's 15 balls without scoring. Praise on your mind, I'm sure. Not yet, maybe. 15 balls, not yet. But I mean, he won't get away with that through a whole Test career, shutting the blade like that with that strong grip. But anyway, we shall see. People learn fast. He has all through his career. I mentioned Chingford Cricket Club and his development there. At 15 they impressed him. Here he goes, a big Ishant Sharma, dead straight. Well played, Dom Sibley. He exaggerated, Dom, the forward shot in defence, as if the ball had kept very low. It just kept a little bit low.
It did keep a little bit low, and that's a better line, actually. I think for Rohit Sharma, we've seen he's beat them twice on the outside. If he can just get the ball just outside of stump, nipping onto off, with the odd one going straight on, I think that's the better line to Dom Sibley. Once you start going and starting it at middle and off and drifting onto that middle, it's just his natural arc to play through the leg side. Just get it a little fraction outside off stump with that nip back, one away, and that'll be the better line to Dom.
This pair looking to soak it up. That's what you have to do in India. Soak up the new ball, soak up the spinning ball, get in, and you may get runs. In comes Sharma. Gabel's a good length at off stump, and Sibley plays forward in that manner of his. He's a very big chap. When you stand alongside him, you're surprised how big he is. He's lost some weight and he looks very fit, but he's not a pretty player to watch. He's an effective user of a cricket bat rather than a beautiful looking batsman. I don't mean that unkindly. Stubborn, sure, yeah. Them's the facts, you know.
He's determined and stubborn, and he makes
runs.
Yep, he makes it hard for you to get him out. No matter how ugly he looks at times, he's determined to bat and bat. He just loves being out there and batting. I'll tell you what it is obvious though, and is evident from watching now, is that seam will definitely play a part in this Test match moving forward. The board balls keeping a little bit low.
Here's Ishant Sharma again, and left alone pretty comfortably wide, just not horribly wide, but a tad wide of the channel. No problem. Sibley loves that. He loves watching the ball go by, then going a little walk, unzipping his gloves, velcroing them back together again, organising himself. At the moment he's wiping sweat with his right thumb, the back of the thumb piece on the glove, and clearing it from just underneath the peak of the helmet. And then he has his think, sets himself and goes through it again. It's a consistent motion, a set of movements and thought processes that are part of the Sibley routine. There's so much to interest one in all batsmen and bowlers, all purveyors of the great game. Sharma again, and he works that hard leg side off a very straight ball, but the fielding is done by short mid-wicket.
There's a lot going on, isn't there, in Dom's routine before he faces the delivery. There's a lot going on. His feet, his arms, his head. But as he strikes the ball, he hits it quite late. He's normally in a good position. But there's a lot going on before ball hits bat. And if that's slightly out of sync, Mark, you would know, but it would probably put him off, and that's what makes it difficult for him to start. Once he gets in, and he gets his rhythm and he gets that routine going, he can be very hard to dismiss.
Yeah, that's well put actually. The early part of the innings is a is a battle with himself as much as with the bowler, as he tries to get everything right and lined up, and he steals a single. Nice cricket. To be alert like that, to be aware of the game around you is something a lot of players could work on. So all he's done is drop it into the offside off a sort of thickish outside edge, or maybe the outside half of the bat, and just gone for the run. He just knows it's a run. He knows exactly where the fielder is. Game awareness. Joe Root has great game awareness and great understanding of the game's tempo, which he tries to control. 16 for 1 here. Lawrence yet to get off the mark. Sibley has 16. Lawrence has faced 15 balls.
I think it's been a good part of England's cricket actually over the past 18 months. The running between the wickets and the rotating of the strike and taking the pressure off themselves.
Nice, very good forward stroke there as a full ball is bowled by Ishant Sharma, and Lawrence was in complete control. 16th ball without scoring. Will it niggle? Who knows? I think he's got a strong mind. Maybe it won't niggle. More from Goffey, and then it'll be Andrew McKenna.
It is a good start from India. It's been a test for England's batsman. Ishant Sharma charging in for his captain, trying to get him a couple of wickets, take a couple with him, trying to bowl straight as he possibly can with this new ball. He's got it too straight on the odd occasion, but that's acceptable. You're trying to strive for that wicket. And as we expected, Ashwin at the other end has just been as accurate as he always is, creating pressure for his captain, for his team. India looking for another wicket, but England battling at 16 for 1 here, live on TalkSport 2. 7 overs gone. Macca.
Morning, Goffey. Lively 7 overs, certainly. Losing Rory Burns to the third ball of the innings. 3 around the bats for Dom Sibley as Ashwin's going to bowl around the wicket to him. It's taken on the pad. They're really appealing for the LBW. Nitin Menon isn't going to be moved on that one. And that is Virat Kohli chirping away. A few nervous smiles here, boys.
Not as bad as he's looked when he got his ball knocked out by Moeen Ali, leaving, trying to drive him through the gate.
Ashwin has pitched that on about middle stump, and I think it was turning too much if they'd reviewed it. Now Dom Sibley goes down on the sweep. It's going to be taken at short leg, but I think it's been ballooned off the pad. However, they've reviewed it instantly. Virat Kohli is making the out signal. He's absolutely convinced this will be given as a catch. It's taken off of the pad, and then, as we saw yesterday, what did it brush on the way through?
Well, they've gone for a review.
Walking off.
He's walking off. He's had enough.
Sibley knows. So it pitches, hits the pad, and then goes off the back of the bat.
I can see
in the
holding the bat.
follow-through.
Just give a double check to confirm it. I'll try it.
He's playing a sweep shot.
Stand by.
The bat is at 90 degrees to the left of Dom Sibley and has hit the back of the bat.
Well, Virat Kohli was convinced, absolutely convinced, and you can see why there. It's a big wicket there.
Well, we're still officially waiting for Ultra Edge. Dom Sibley's over the rope by now, which makes it a little bit pointless.
Well, it makes a faster decision. Original decision not out, and he's walked off.
Okay, Ultra is coming now.
And they put the technology on.
Spike when bat is hitting the ball. Go to the on-field umpire, please. Thank you. Nitin, you need to reverse and you can signal out. Thank you.
Well, RB, what were the chances of that? England have lost their second wicket. They are 16 for 2. They did manage to hold up Dom Sibley sufficiently that he's not over the rope when the finger goes up, but he is now wandering off. 7 overs and 2 balls have been sent down by India, and 2 English wickets have been taken. Ashwin has 1 for 1 from 20 balls bowled, and Joe Root walks to the crease with England 16 for 2. Jared Kimber.
Generally what happens in that situation is the third umpire, or the fourth official actually, usually goes to the rope and says don't leave, because there might be a problem with the technology or anything. I have seen batsmen just walk off anyway because they're just like, I'm out. But how often we see how often in that sort of situation the batsman waits for the decision even though they know they've hit it or it's hit their glove. So it's quite interesting for Sibley just to be like, it's going to show me as out, I might as well leave now.
Well, this is perfect actually for India to get the captain. Joe Root is in such good form to the crease quite early. The ball's still new, it's still hard. Attacking fields, Ishant Sharma bowling a good line and length and good pace, and obviously Ashwin doing what he does every single day.
3 around the bat for Root. He's off the back foot, pushing into the offside. There's no run. Double 100, as Goffey said, in the first innings of the first test. Top scored in the second as well with 40, and England need their captain. Virat Kohli it was who did indeed take the catch. He was the man at short leg. Root is going down on the sweep straight away. There's oohs and ahs around the bat. You can hear it from all of the fielders. And Joe Root is off and underway with a single.
I'll tell you, a little bit full that one to sweep, but he got good contact on it. He's in good form. Joe Root, there's pressure. The Indian fielders are lively and excitable as you would expect. 2 wickets already for India. 17 for 2 England. Talksport 2.
Ashwin around the wicket to Dan Lawrence. He's off the back foot playing to backward point. There's no run. I think I just heard Rishabh Pant saying he's got no clue. I'm sure that's what Rishabh Pant just said.
To be fair to him, not many batsmen have against Ashwin.
For the final time this over, Ashwin goes in, Lawrence plays back down the pitch. The front leg had actually gone a long way into the leg side, so he was very chest on playing that. It is the end of the over. It's 8 overs gone, 17 for 2 England, Goffey.
Well, the normal thing to do, Mako, when an off-spinner bowls, it's very much something that Duncan Fletcher tried to bring in the way England batsman plays, but when the off-spinner does bowl on a turning pitch, is to get that left leg, open it right up and ride the spin and play with it and play it into the leg side. But the problem with doing it against someone like Ashwin is that he has got the ball and the skill with very little change in his action to make the ball go both ways. So it becomes a very difficult thing to stop doing when you've been doing it for many, many years.
Burns, 0. 3 balls. Sibley, 16 from the 25 he faced. Those 2 have been dismissed, and now India bring in a man that Gareth Bhatia said could be the X factor in this game. Akshar Patel is coming on to bowl for the first time in Test cricket, the left arm spinner. The man that they wanted to play in the first Test but couldn't due to a knee problem. In his first class career, 134 wickets in his 40 matches at just under 27 and a half. Best of 7 for 54. And he's in the 9th over of this innings with the score on 17 for 2. Joe Root is on strike. Here comes Akshar. It's quite a low arm, and Joe Root just guides this through third man. It'll go scuttling off towards the boundary. Rohit Sharma will do the fielding about halfway back, and Joe Root has a couple to add to his tally. He goes to 3. England 19 for 2.
Yeah, good start from the left-handed Patel. Dusted off the pitch, outside edge from Joe Root, runs away for 2. Lots of energy out there at the moment from India. Lots of noise, lots of energy. All excited, got England in a little bit of trouble. 19 for 2. Test debutant having his first bowl. Good start, got one to turn and bounce. It's found England captain's outside edge.
They're putting a second slip, India, but taking out the man under the helmet as this one rips past Joe Root's outside edge. And I mean ripped. Joe Root has missed that by about 3 or 4 centimetres, and we're talking about a man in the form of his life at the moment. That is an absolute worldie. It's taken a massive chunk out the pitch. Akshar is in once again, that's Fuller. Root just playing out on the offside and there's no run. Akash is with us. We'll speak to him at the end of the over as the spinners are on. But he told us it would be a different game.
Well, look at the speeds he's bowling at as well, Maka. 97, 94, 89, already quicker than the England spinners.
He's in around the wicket. Solidly into the offside is Joe Root. Dan Lawrence was backing up in case the skipper wanted a single. The skipper didn't want a single.
Makes it very difficult, as Gareth Battery will tell us later, to get down to when they're bowling at their speed.
Akshar is in once again. Root is pushing out on the offside, and there's one ball left of the over. The chirping around the bat at the moment is incredible. The noise from the stands, it's everything that is cricket in India. Akshar to complete his first over. Root pushes back down the pitch. It's the end of the over, 9 bowled here on TalkSport 2. England 19 for 2, replying to India's 329. Akash, you were saying during the break that it would be a different game when the Indian spinners were on. Well, they've certainly made an impact so far.
Yes, mate, because these are the conditions that they've grown up bowling for years. And this is what you expect. Someone like Akshar Patel, who's naturally faster in the air. It's more like a target practice that there are so many spots there. All you have to do is maintain a high pace and just keep bowling there. Ball after ball, some balls are going to misbehave for sure. And Ashwin, of course, is class. So Akshar may not be the same class, but he's very accurate.
Coffey's moved out in the commentary box. Gareth Batty and Matt Pryor are in as we start a new over, and Dan Lawrence will get off the mark. He's pushed Ashwin to mid-on, set off very quickly, and he has his first run from 19 deliveries. In England 20 for 2. Matt Pryor, Dan Lawrence will feel good about that one.
Yeah, happy to get the single, and they say don't judge a wicket until both teams are battered on it, and at the moment 329 looks like about 1,000 on a normal pitch.
You've judged it after 9 overs and 1 ball of the England innings, have you?
Well, it's only getting worse. It's not getting better, this wicket. Let's remember that. And as the roller wears off, the spinner Ashwin bowling with a new ball, he'll be able to grip the seam better as the ball gets older. I'm not being defeatist here, but it's going to be a challenge.
Pants reverted to English now to get into Joe Root's head. Root's going to go down on the sweep to Ashwin and take him to backwards square leg where Ishant is fielding. It's a single. Root goes to 4. England 21 for 2.
Yeah, I'm being slightly ridiculous saying it's equivalent to 1,000, but I mean, you've got to look at it. You take Sharma's incredible innings out, 161. Rahane gets 60 odd. Then Pant comes in the end, gets a 50. No one else got a score. So that's what you have to actually look at.
Ashwin is in. Lawrence is using his feet. He actually pushes it to Shubman Gill at short leg. And Shubman Gill tried the backhand flick back towards the stumps as Lawrence's momentum was taking him still further down the pitch. He managed to get back in the end, although Shubman Gill almost managed to flick it over Rishabh Pant, nowhere near the stumps. Ashwin in. Lawrence is playing from the crease to one that keeps a little bit low. He's trying to force off the back foot. It's gone past the under edge through to Pant. And if it's not turning and bouncing, it's keeping low. Every ball there is something happening. In goes Ashwin. Lawrence gets this one. Pushes up to Rohit Sharma at shortish mid-wicket, no run.
6 for 15, 17 overs today. Kind of tells the story.
Ashwin goes in, that's the Karen ball. Drifts away a little bit on that occasion. Lawrence is in behind it, end of the over. 21 for 2 are England after 10 overs. 329 was what India posted. Akash is still with us at this point. How do you approach this innings if you're a top order batsman who plays a lot of spin, Akash, because you know it's going to do plenty?
So what Root is trying to do, or rather remember what Root did in the second innings of the first test match. You have to be aggressive, you have to impose yourself a little bit and look for runs. A good ball is going to get you out. If it just jumps from nowhere, it catches your edge of the bat or the gloves, you can't do much about it. But do try and score runs. You just can't be sitting there and waiting for things to happen.
Akash, thank you very much for the time being. Joe Root is going to sweep into the leg side. He's going to get a couple for this as it goes out to wide, long on. I can't really describe it any better than that because I can't actually see at the moment, because Neil Manthorpe's taken it upon himself to start playing with the lighting in the commentary box. He's nearly blinded all of us as it's been like a disco for the last 5 or 6 seconds there. Have you found a setting you like, Manners? Give us a thumbs up. Yeah, we're happy with this one, mate. Just stick with this one. God, Struth. Thought he was taking x-rays for a minute there. England 23 for 2. Joe Root on strike, and India are going to put the silly point man back in, so it's 2 slips and a silly point, as Akshar is going to bowl left arm around, and here he comes past the umpire. Root off the back foot, pushes it out on the offside, no run.
Yeah, I mean, from an England perspective and how they approach this, it's obviously it is a challenge, but you can take from the Indian batsmen how they played when they did get in and did get a partnership. The wicket, you could bat on it.
Akshar in. Joe Root has swept into the leg side, top edge, caught it, short backward square leg. Ashwin takes the catch, and Joe Root has been dismissed for a single figure score. He goes for 6 from 12 deliveries, and England are in deep, deep trouble. They're 23 for 3 here on TalkSport 2.
Yeah, as Akash said, all you've got to do really, if you've got the pace and you've got the accuracy as a spinner, you've just got to find these pitches, you've got to find these places on the pitch. And Akshar Patel, he's found one of those places. This ball angling into middle stump, it's on a good length, the length really that you do sweep, but it's bounced, it's turned, it's hit the top edge of Root's bat, and that is why we're saying it is so difficult to bat. Not done a huge amount wrong, it's the pitch there that's for the doing of Joe Root. There is good bounce and spin from Akshar Patel, and he had the fielding placements right. That is the key to this. He had a 45, he held his nerve, he had the man out on the boundary, he left mid-wicket open with a mid-on, and that is the key to it. Get your fielders in the right place, and when you do get a bit of batsman error, it's going to take the wicket, and caught on the 45 there, quite a simple catch. But Akshar Patel on debut into the game, big blow for England. Joe Root gone for 6.
Well, Akash, what a first wicket for Akshar in Test match cricket to get the England captain, who has been in prime form.
Absolutely, and that's what we discussed earlier, that this is the pitch where you want to make your Test debut. Happily, you'll take it even more gleefully when your team has already batted first. And now the first wicket as Joe Root, I mean, he couldn't have asked for anything better. Somebody else is writing Akshar Patel's script, and he's just playing his part. And to me, that was a game, set and match. Of course, Stokes will be a threat, but then when you have 300 plus on the board and you can dismiss Joe Root that cheaply, this pitch is going to just get tougher. So first innings from England's perspective is absolutely critical to stay alive, stay in this contest. And if they don't get close to India's total, which looks miles away at this point, they will be too far behind in the game. And the Indian spinners, we still haven't seen Kuldeep Yadav, who might just be slightly easier to tackle considering his pace. But then the 2 spinners, Ashwin and Akshar, they'll have a lot to say.
If the alarm has just gone off at 5:30 this Sunday morning, don't be too disheartened. I'm sure it's not game, set and match just yet. Ben Stokes is the new man in. He's beaten on the outside edge by Akshar Patel, who's bowling left arm over to the England vice-captain. But yeah, absolutely, England have trouble. By the way, I'm not sure if we mentioned this already, we're not going to see Pujara field today. Stokes is pushing this one back past the bowler, and he'll be off the mark with a single up to long on. So he's underway with a single, 24 for 3. Pujara, of course, got hit while he was batting yesterday and felt some pain. He's not going to field today, is the word from the Indian camp. Not really a problem at the moment, though, in fairness, as it's the Indian bowlers who are going to be doing all of the work. Right, Dan Lawrence is retaking guard.
We just heard on stump mic there, he's taking 2, so that means he's sort of prepared to show him his stumps a little bit. We'll see how he lines up on the crease, but he's actually prepared to stay a fraction leg side of the ball, so he's going to be trying to defend his stumps and not too worried about the outside edge, potentially. We'll see how he actually does stand on the crease.
Here comes Akshar. Oh, it's a quick one, it's hurried through, takes him on the pad. About 15,000 people appeal, and Virat Kohli is asking the question, is there an inside edge on it, he's saying. Do we go for this or not? And he's not going to go for the DRS review. He's managed to stay relatively, and I'll use the word loosely, relatively dispassionate about the whole thing. 11 overs gone, 24 for 3 it remains.
Yeah, and I think this is all down to Dan Lawrence and where he's batting. He's taken 2, so he knows that if it hits him on the pad, it's definitely got to be straightening more than that ball is. It's going down, so he's prepared to defend for his stumps, and if it gets done on the outside with a great ball, well, fair dues. But the pitch is spinning so much, there's a pretty good chance that if he holds the line when it spins, he'll miss it by a good inch or so. So I think actually it's a really good game plan from Dan Lawrence. I know he's confident against spin, and he's faced 24 balls already, and he doesn't seem panicked and fazed by the fact he's only got 1 run. I think he's got good process here.
Yeah, spot on bats, and I think as a batsman you have to just be prepared for the fact that you are going to get 1 spin into your pads, you are going to play and miss. That's just going to come with the territory, and it's how you give yourself the best chance, play the percentages, and I think that he's got the right game plan, now executing it and making sure you're not affected by the ball spitting and turning the fielders all around the bat.
There are 3 around the bat as Ashwin goes right arm around the wicket. Stokes pushes out on the offside. There was a real yes-no interlude there. In the end, they do go for the single, so Lawrence will go back on strike. The technology is now just showing that last LBW appeal that would have been umpire's call. It was just clipping the top of the leg stump there, but as it would have been given not out, it wouldn't have been reversed that, and it looked like it was Rohit Sharma more than anyone else who did manage to convince Virat Kohli not to appeal that one, because he was saying height. Ashwin to go into Lawrence again off the back foot, pushing back down the pitch, no run.
Matty, I got one for you. You can hear all the buzz around the bat, and obviously it's high pressure and intensity. How long does it take to diffuse that as a batsman?
Ashwin in, Lawrence is forward, turning into the onside, there will be no run.
It's definitely your first 20 minutes. Your first 20 minutes when you walk out to bat, that's your crucial point. So let's say,
Ashwin goes in, Lawrence is coming forward, pushing out on the offside, they'll take the single. Rishabh Pant is howling and screaming from behind the stumps as the single is taken. Lawrence goes to 2, 26 for 3.
But the situation as it is now, India's so far ahead of the game, obviously very lively, all the fielders around the bat, it's going to take probably a bit longer. So you've got half an hour. I would say, 6-8 overs to dig in, and it'll all settle down, and you just got to find a way to get through that. And as I say, it's about playing percentages, keep playing very straight.
3 in on the offside for Ben Stokes, but the ball is leg stumpish, so Stokes is able to turn this to mid-wicket and take a single. He will go to 3. England 27 for 3, replying to India's 329.
On a pitch like this, for me, with it turning and bouncing, the old one sliding on, going across the line is a high-risk shot. I think Joe Root will be sat in the dressing room now going, did I play the right shot there? To the left-arm spinner bowling very fast. To get down and try and sweep it is a difficult shot.
Well, Dan Lawrence has gone down the pitch and has hoiked this one into the leg side. He will clear Akshar Patel at mid-wicket. He'll run all the way back to within about 10 metres of the boundary rope. Didn't get all of it by any manner of means. But it goes safely into the leg side. They will take a couple. Lawrence will go to 4, and that is at the end of the over. England 29 for 3. Jared Kimber has got some stats for us while I make way for Neil Manthorpe.
So these are some career numbers for you guys. Joe Root averages 65 against spin. Virat Kohli averages 68 against spin. Jay Pujara averages 73 against spin. Rohit Sharma only averages 58 against spin. Some good players of spin have struggled on this pitch. Is there anything that Sharma has done that is different to the other guys?
Sweep shot from Ben Stokes now, and he makes very good contact behind square on the leg side. They'll scurry through for a couple of straightforward runs, and Ben Stokes moves up to 5. It's been really, really tough going. Who are you asking that question to?
You, Manny.
Jared? I'm not
the
one.
Or Manny?
I think Maddie can tell us what Rohit Sharma did. It was silky smooth and very effective, and he's 161. 31 for 3, England.
Well, the first thing he did, he played very straight early on. He didn't really go across. Yes, we spoke about how he swept, but it was only when he was in that he started sweeping, and it was also to the off spinner. So selective in the shots he played.
Axar Patel in again. Stokes pushes it behind square on the offside to backward point. No run.
I think what I really liked about the way he played, he used his feet, but not necessarily to attack and hit the big shot. He did again, when the ball was right, he hit it over the top, but then he looked to score off the back foot. And I think that's again a crucial part of playing spin on a pitch like this.
Stokes back now to Axar Patel, drops it down into the offside, sets off for a single. Rishabh Pant comes from behind the stumps and Stokes moves up to 6, England 32 for 3.
But there was such a level of control in everything he did. Every shot he played, whether it was defence, whether it was attacking, there was so much control. We saw Dan Lawrence playing a shot that came down the wicket last over, down the wicket, tried to hit it over the top, and it just lacked that bit of control. Could have gone anywhere. He got lucky that time, but he needs to get control.
Patel in once more, turned off his pads down towards Ashwin, who tumbles at backward square leg as he fields.
The bowling perspective on that, Matty, just to pick up on what you say about control, the bowlers never really had control with him because he got off to a bit of a flyer. He was going at a runner ball, so there was never really any external pressure built up on him, which allowed him to then just keep following the process and bowl nicely, and there were release balls by England.
Lawrence on strike now as Patel comes forward and plays that one out on the onside, and there's no run. 13 overs gone, England 32 for 3.
Yeah, you spot on bats, and we'll see now these Indian bowlers, how many freebies are they going to give the England batsmen? How many genuine freebies, full bungers that you can just hit away for 4, or genuine short balls? Compare that to how many freebies Sharma got. Now that's not taking anything away from how well he played, but England couldn't build pressure on him, so that's how he managed to keep that control the whole time. You look at the other players that you mentioned there, Jared. Kohli got a magic ball, which you're going to get, and that's another element on this pitch. You're going to need some luck.
Ashwin begins another over. He's into Ben Stokes. He comes forward and drives out towards the man sweeping on the cover boundary. That's Ishant Sharma. The full toss is on this surface is about the worst ball you can bowl as a spinner, isn't it? I mean, it's even worse than a short ball. At least that might misbehave.
Exactly. You've got to use what's in front of you, and it's got a pitch on the surface. It's spinning, it's bouncing, it's going low, it's doing this, it's doing that, it's doing everything basically. So you've got to at least hit the thing first and give yourself a bit of a chance.
Slip leg, short leg as forward comes Lawrence, reaching for this one from Ashwin, nudging it down pitch. 33 for 3.
But the difference is the last 8 balls that England have faced, they've got 3 runs. They've had to work really hard for those 3 runs. They've had to get in great positions, really positive footwork, and take a calculated risk to an extent.
Lawrence on strike on 4 as Ashwin is into him again, and that one bounces. It just slides straight on though, doesn't turn much, hits the outside half of the bat, trickles out to slip.
And this, from a bowling perspective, is kind of, you're happy that England are trying to be positive, but also if they start getting it away and start feeling more confident, it gets a bit easier. That's when the game can just go away from you a fraction as a bowler.
Here's Ashwin again, and that one hits Lawrence on the pad and bounces up and is caught by Shubman Gill at short leg, but only pad involved, no bat. England 3 down. They lost Rory Burns to Ishant Sharma, LBW, for a 3rd ball duck. Here is Ashwin once again, more turn and bounce as well. Lawrence struck on the pad outside the line of off stump, drops to the feet of short leg. Dom Sibley was dismissed sweeping, hit the back of the bat, caught it short leg by Virat Kohli for 16, and Joe Root caught sweeping as well, top edge to backward square leg, where Ashwin took the catch. Axar Patel, the successful bowler. Root went for 6. Here's Ashwin again up to the crease now, bowls full length delivery. Lawrence happy to push that to a deepish. Axar Patel at mid-on and scurries through for a single and keeps the strike. Dan Lawrence has 5 from 35 balls. Ben Stokes has 7. England are 34 for 3. A reminder that India resumed at 300 for 6 and bowled out for 329. That part of the day went very well indeed for England, with Moeen Ali taking 2 wickets in 1 over to finish with 4 for 128 from 29 overs. Bit expensive, he'll be the first to admit that. But Ollie Stone finished beautifully, only bowled 5 balls today, took 2 wickets, finished with 3 for 47. England now 34 for 3, replying to India's 329. Ollie Pope to come, then Ben Foakes. They're both renowned players of spin, and they will need all of their skills today. Here is Akshar Patel. Forward comes Lawrence again, pushing it back to the bowler, and there's no run. You know them both well, Bats. They, as I said, are renowned players of spin and have had success. Here's Patel once again. How will they be feeling? That's pushed back to the bowler.
Oh, they'll be nervous, of course they will, but they've both got very good game plans, slightly different in the way they'll go about it. But they were schooled under Kumar Sangakkara, that we were so lucky to have as overseas player for a couple of years, and he was brilliant with our youngsters and giving them method against spin. So they both have very good method. They have clear plans.
Here is Patel once again, and turned away off the pad behind square on the leg side. It always helps if you can rely on the pitch, though.
Yeah, I mean, look, on this surface, method can go out the window if you get two absolute snorters. There's not a lot you can do about it, but they'll certainly have a way of doing it. We'll see a bit more sweeping, possibly from Pope, than we would do from Foakes.
Here is Akshar, and that one's a quicker one. That's skidded through and hit the pads again. It was missing leg stump, I fancy.
But they'll both be positive, and they'll both be quick and fleet of foot, and they'll have the areas that they want to score to put the bowlers under pressure. But as we see here from Akshar Patel, he's driven that one into the surface, and it skips on, doesn't disturb the surface as much, and slides in, missing leg stump.
Here's Akshar Patel again, pushed out on the onside. He's an intriguing bowler to watch, isn't he? Because he seems to bowl strong deliveries at pace, but he doesn't seem to have a very strong action. He's all sort of lithe and wispy in his delivery stride. It all seems to be arm and shoulder rather than the driving. That's pushed out wide of mid-on, and they scurry through for a single again. And the score moves up at the end of 15 overs to 35 for 3. Jared.
I think we've talked about this a fair bit, but Ben Stokes versus Ravi Ashwin, if you take out a couple of dismissals in England, which are also quite cheap, in Asia, Ashwin has him 6 times at an average of 20. He's also got him a couple more times in England, I think maybe at a slightly higher average, but it still only moves up to about 22 or 23. Ashwin is very good against left-handers, obviously, and Ben Stokes has always had that problem. He's been working on it quite a bit with his back left, trying to get it straighter against the off-spinners, but so far Ashwin has just really been a top-level bowler against him.
Here is Ashwin to continue, and down the wicket comes Lawrence, and he might just have got perhaps a outside half of the bat on this. I think he was looking to actually push it down towards mid-on and squirt it out into the covers with the spin off the outside half of the bat. Another single. In fact, they came back for 2. Lawrence moves up to 8, and England 37 for 3.
Bowling, Ash.
Just touching on what you said about Akshar, Manners, you don't need to get as much body into your action bowling on a surface like this. You just need to be very accurate and direct into that area, and the pitch will do it all for you.
Here's Ashwin again, and that's pushed out towards Patel at mid-on. They again scamper through for the single. There was a scream from Rishabh Pant, keeper's end, or that equivalent, and he thought he might have been able to put pressure on his man there. England 38 for 3. Long way behind India's 329, which is has a feel of a normal 500 about it at the moment, with 3 down on the stroke of lunch on day 2. Don't think we'll be seeing very much cricket on day 5 of this test match. Possibly not a great deal on day 4. Here is Ashwin again, and a lovely drift into the left-handed Ben Stokes, who pushes it out towards Silly Point. No run. 9,000 in the crowd yesterday, more today, we reckon. And they're certainly got a lot to cheer about. And that one is edged. No, it's not. It spins off the pad. It just spins off the pad to slip. Well, something's happening all the time at the moment. Virat Kohli's considering the DRS. Ashwin was appealing for the LBW, wasn't he, Matt? I think.
Yeah, definitely going for the LBW, and I think he's amazed that they're going for it. I think Ashwin was really quite shocked that they haven't gone for a bigger appeal here.
Or leg before. Umpire has given not out. Fair delivery.
It was. You rarely do you see a more reluctant review from a captain. He really didn't seem to be particularly interested.
I'll tell you what, I think Ashwin's got a fair point here. Stokes has sort of stepped forward, got half a stride in, really, no more than that. He's tried to just play a forward defence. The ball's ripped past the outside edge. He's not got a touch on it with the bat, and it's
hit him on the back leg.
Thudded into the back leg. Bit of height, maybe.
Yeah, it could only be height, maybe.
Tell you what, though, it's a great deal closer than anybody thought, apart from Ashwin, who was.
In line.
I think he felt a bit let down by his teammates. And it is height. Yeah, the ball tracking shows that it's bouncing over the top of Ben Stokes' off stump. India lose a review. That was a good decision from the senior umpire Nitin Menon. But it was a terrific delivery. I mean, he's pitched that on leg stump and he's spun it over the top of off stump.
It was a beautiful piece of bowling. Real class, wide of the crease, angling it in, drawing Ben Stokes into just opening that face, trying to get it more sort of mid-on area. Beautiful piece of bowling. Kohli didn't fancy it though. You could see his review. Didn't fancy it.
Here's Ashwin again, drifts into Stokes and turns away as he pushes it to short cover.
Yeah, that was all the bowler, wasn't it? That review. Captain, I'm having it. Review it.
Come on, Skip. You want me a bowl all day? Give me this one.
It's out. I promise you.
Keep bowling there. Bapu ready rahiyo.
Kohli was shaking his head as he called for the review. He kind of knew it wasn't out. Sweep from Ben Stokes here, misses it, hits him on the pad. Possibly pitching outside leg stump, but no appeal. Stokes 7, Lawrence 9.
Ashwin wants to review this one as well. He's all over him.
There's a phlegmatic shake of the head and a sort of rueful grin from Virat Kohli, saying, well, yeah, all right, you've got 380 test wickets, I'll give you a review then. He wasn't keen. India 329 all out, England 38 for 3. England are still 291 runs behind. 16 overs gone, and the men to come: Ollie Pope, Ben Foakes, and Moeen Ali. I was talking about the next two in, Ollie Pope and Ben Foakes. We've got Moeen Ali, who's batted everywhere from opener to number 8 for England, and he's scheduled to come in at number 8 once again, and then Ollie Stone, Stuart Broad and Jack Leach. That's good delivery from Akshar Patel past the outside edge as Dan Lawrence pushes forward. He's 9 off 44 deliveries. A rueful grin from the batsman now. This time he's thinking, well, just play the line. If you beat me on the outside, fine. Just there's a slip gully and a silly point now as Lawrence is forward again to Akshar Patel. Nudges it out on the onside. There is a great deal of noise and energy and well, I don't know if it's intimidation. I don't think so. It's just a lot of enthusiasm from the England fielders as Patel is in once again, pushed out on the onside defensively by Dan Lawrence. He is a fighter. We heard Mark Nicholas describe him earlier as a fighter. Lives and breathes the game, and he has to fight at the moment. He's in a real street fight. He's in a scrap. Plays backward defensive here, does Dan Lawrence. He does end up in a peculiar looking position sometimes, doesn't he, with rather chest on as he defends.
He certainly tries to keep a straight face on his bat though.
Here's Akshar Patel once again, and there he is once more, ending up rather chest on as the back leg seems to.
Yeah, I know what you mean, Manners, but I actually think it's quite good batting because he's getting his pads out of the way, he's getting his front leg out of the way so he can get his bat to the ball.
Pushes rather loosely at this one outside the off stump, and it trickles up towards Ashwin at mid-on, and there's no run. 17 overs gone. I reckon that over from Akshar Patel lasted about a minute.
It looks to me, Matty, that he's trying not to get too far back and across. He's trying to almost go back straight so he can play a straight ball, and if it rags past his outside edge, well, fair enough. Sometimes we talk to get back and across to get your eyes up, but actually it just gets you back and across, so you're over on off stump, but it actually just means your pads are smack in front of all three.
Yeah, certainly to the left armour as well, bowling fast. You want to make sure that your bat can access the ball the whole time, and if you get too far across, the ball slides on, just thuds into pads, LBW. So by staying left side of it, leg side of it, you're playing with your bat. Play your stumps with the bat. If it spins past the outside edge, hopefully you miss it. It's going to miss the stumps. You say well bowled, but you're still in.
Ashwin, 2 slips and a silly point to left-handed Ben Stokes. Back into his crease goes Stokes, playing defensively.
To the off-spinner, it might be different. The off-spinner, you might want to come across to off-stump and look to play the ball into the leg side. So it's good from Darren Lawrence. So you can see he's got clear game plans for both.
Oh, that one fizzes past the outside edge.
Bowling, Asha.
Ben Stokes
That's
pushing
it,
at that
that's it.
defensively and well taken by Rishabh Pant, to be fair.
Bash.
Interesting that India have just moved the man from silly point to behind square. He's almost like a silly gully now. Driven in the air, just outside half of the bat towards the substitute fielder at backward point. And they scamper through for a single. Ben Stokes takes one more. England move on to 39 for 3.
Yeah, nice bowling again there from Ashwin, just drawing him into a bit of a drive, bringing in that slip, that gully. If he's pushing at the ball, Ben Stokes, he puts a bit of pace on it, so the ball will carry in those areas. But again, precise, it was good. He's off strike, he's played nicely, but it's a risk you've got to take to get off strike, which is what India have done so well today.
Here is Ashwin round the wicket to Lawrence now. Nudges that one down to Patel at mid-on. No run there. That's 50 up for Lawrence. Ball's faced.
Here's one for you, Jared. How many boundaries after 18 overs did India have compared to England?
Full forward comes Lawrence to the next one from Ashwin round the wicket. Plays defensively.
Hey, you're in coach mode, aren't you? Hey,
Absolutely.
marshalling the troops. Get in here, lads.
Stats. Let's get the data.
Last ball of the 18th over. Ashwin into his delivery stride and then doesn't deliver. Actually went through with the delivery, just didn't release the ball. And then looks down at the crease. Maybe his studs got caught. He's bowling round the wicket at the moment. I don't think it was anything to do with Ben Stokes leaving his ground at the non-striker's end. So, slip, leg slip, and a short leg now. Change of attack. Oh, and that's taken by short leg. Shubman Gill takes the catch. Dan Lawrence has pushed it to short leg. And he's gone for 9. And India's terrific morning continues with a 4th wicket. Dan Lawrence, not a great deal he could do about that. As it gloved him, is it inside edge? The extra bounce. Super catch at short leg. England 39 for 4.
Yeah, you bang on, man. As I don't think Dan Lawrence can do a thing here. This is absolute sweet bowling from Ashwin. He's round the wicket. The angle is going across Dan Lawrence with a bit challenging his outside edge. Pitches about off stump. Hits the massive bit of rough. Spits at him, spins at him. He's done everything right. He's lined it all up. But if you get that one that bounces and spits into the gloves, smart catch at short leg. Lawrence played pretty well there for 50. He did all the right things, but he's actually got that ball in the surface where if your name's on it, your name's on it. And that's just a sweet piece of bowling from the great Ashwin around the wicket, as I say, with that angle. Brings in all dismissals, and this one spitting, bouncing and hitting the glove and going to short leg.
Well, my goodness me, India bowled out for 329. They lost the last 4 wickets for 29 runs when they resumed this morning, but now England in reply are 39 for 4. And I guess, Matt Pryor, the worst thing is that the England batsmen will feel to an extent that their destiny's beyond their control. Do you know what I mean? You can have all the processes and techniques, but every now and then, and quite often actually, you just get an unplayable ball.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't have that. You've got to fight that mentality, because you have to be thinking the whole time you are good enough to front this. Because ultimately, if you're saying it's out of my control, you're basically saying you're not good enough to play at this level and in these conditions, which isn't an excuse. And I'm sure no England player right now would have that mentality. They're going to go out with their game plan. But what you have to make peace with is the fact that you are going to play a miss. There is going to be a lot of noise. There is going to be the occasional ball that jumps and spits. And you have to stick to your game plan. I think if you stick to your game, if you've got a clear game plan, you stick to it and you get a good ball, then fair enough. There's nothing you can do about that. I think where you'll be disappointed, and that's why I'll go back to Joe Root's dismissal, I think he'll be slightly disappointed with the shot that he played, because the shot selection for me there wasn't right. To the left arm spinner bowling very fast into a pitch that's bouncing and turning. To play a sweep shot early on in an innings is a big shot. So I think you'll only be disappointed with yourself if you come out of your game plan, or you choose to play a shot that is high risk. But you've got to believe that. I mean, England have to now go into, like, they are so far behind this game. You know, it looks a long way back from here. But the only way back is to bat time, and England have to find a way to build a partnership, play straight, try and get the game, get some calm back in this. It's what India do very well, particularly in their own conditions. Men around the bat, the slips, the gullies, the short legs, the silly points, the bowlers, the oohs, the ahs, the appeals. You have to try and soak that all up, find a way. And actually, Dan Lawrence, it's a shame he got out when he did there, because he was starting to get a little bit of calm. You could see he was coming down the wicket, not looking to hit a boundary, but just trying to push it down for a single, take the strike over, build a partnership. Ben Stokes now has to join together with, or Ollie Pope will join Ben Stokes after lunch, and they have to. It's crucial that they find a way to build some kind of partnership now.
Just your thoughts on Joe Root. I mean, it was early in his innings, but he's scored mountains of runs in the last 3 Test matches, and a great deal of them have been scored with the sweep shot. And there probably isn't a better sweeper of a cricket ball in the world at the moment. No one better. Maybe a couple that are as good as Joe Root. But was it? I suppose that's his shot of choice, isn't it, against the spinner?
Yeah, and you evaluate, don't you? You see how many runs can I get playing this shot as opposed to how many times I'm going to get out doing it. The last 2 or 3 innings he's had, he would have got a huge volume of runs, but it's been against different left-arm spin. Nadeem is very different to Axar Patel. Nadeem went up out of his hand and looked to shape the ball in and spin it away. Axar Patel is driving that ball into the surface, so the reaction you get is very different off the surface. And Axar Patel's a taller man, so already you've got the different gradients of bounce, which ultimately was the undoing in that shot, taking the top edge and going to the 45 position on the leg side. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to be the one saying you can't play a sweep shot.
But Manners, for me, that argument is a bit like saying, yesterday we watched Virat Kohli, one of the other best batsmen in the world, try and play a shot on the up through extra cover to a ball that was spinning back to him. And we will all say, terrible shot, Virat Kohli. Now, how many runs has he scored playing a shot through extra cover in his career? Is that a strong shot for him? Absolutely. But was it the right shot on this pitch to that bowler? Probably not. So, we can't say that to Virat Kohli. And then for Joe Root, say, oh, well, yes, he scored a huge amount of runs. Yes, he is high class. No one is questioning that. Was it the right shot in that situation so early on? I don't know. If I was sat with Joe Root asking him, looking at, and I would be doing that if I was sat in the dressing room, I'd be shocked if he went, you know what, 100% that was the right shot.